What's going on, Marlboro Softball, and welcome back to another episode of the Marlboro Softball Podcast. It is 5 days after June 19th. I mean, it is 3 days after June 21st. It is June 24th. We are here recording after one of the craziest Sundays of all time for multiple reasons. We'll get into all the fun. Let's say hello to the co-host today, Jur number one. What's going on, Ush?
Not much. A lot of fireworks this weekend, as you said, for multiple reasons. Big week ahead, too. Got a big Sunday slate. We got the Hornet on Saturday. Should be a nice, good week. A lot to think about getting us ahead to this weekend. We should just go by for everybody.
Indeed. A big weekend indeed. We'll get into all of that. Mr. Unbiased Third Party, Hemp. What's going on, sir?
Not much. Feeling good. Ready to play again Sunday.
Some of us haven't played in a long time, and that's sad.
Yes, it is.
Miles Finch, how are you feeling? You jonesing to get back out there with that disaster you got going, or what?
You talking about my face?
That and the team. I'm not sure which is worse.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean,
Just something
I'm excited to play Saturday. I'm excited to play with my friends.
Good for you for having friends.
Dom, your face looks fantastic, by the way. The lighting is great.
Listen, this is why I go after older women.
Face made for radio.
This is why
they call me arthritis. They call me arthritis because I'm so hard on senior citizens. I work with what I got. I'm excited for the Hornet.
That was a disgusting visual I just got there.
Good. That's art. That's art.
Yeah, you fellas mentioned it. Hornet, it's here. Couple days, unveiling of the new turf. I'm hearing. You guys playing on that?
Nope.
We will eventually.
Yep.
I have faith.
We will eventually as well.
Looking forward.
Should be the first game, but
how dare they?
We won't blame anybody. Thanks, Doug. But
you like that they set us up against each other the first game?
Oh, of course.
I mean, that'll be fun.
I'm my most spry early in the morning. That's because I'm least high at that time.
Dom, don't forget our deal.
What's the bet? Let's put on the airways.
Well, I just meant our agreement for the game.
Oh yes, fair.
What is that agreement?
It's the same one I made with Pez.
Oh, walk for a K.
Walk for a backwards K.
You're gonna lose that one too. Did you win that one against Pez yet?
What do you mean? That's just an agreement.
Oh, okay. But did that come true yet?
No, that game got rained out.
Gotcha.
Oh, so
but there was a first game. Did this agreement come after your first game or before the first game?
Listen, Hemp, where you guys play Hooligans, are you guys done with Hooligans this year?
No, we've got another game.
We have it tomorrow.
But then next week too, or no?
And then playoffs.
Oh, the playoff. I thought this was the championship week.
I think we got a bye, and then we play the winner of Red Rock Rays.
There's a really crappy pizzeria that Tom sent me to.
Go on.
Next to that crappy pizzeria is a liquor store. Inside that liquor store, they have my favorite THC drinks, but I hate driving to Middletown to go get them.
Okay.
So that's what we're gonna bet.
So that's
on
what you
Saturday.
want. I just want the pizza from the pizza place.
It's like 3 minutes from McMahon, so it's not too far off the beaten path.
All right.
And if we lose, I'll get you a pizza.
Right.
I'll get you on a Hooligans night, so I won't be there to eat any slices. A true form.
Beautiful.
Stay the fuck away from my pizza. All right, deal.
All right, glad we sorted that out. Yeah, so everyone go check out the Hornet all day at Union Hill. Should be a fun day. Should be what's the weather looking like? Is it going to get rained out or could be nicer? Billion degrees?
I mean, it wasn't supposed to rain on Sunday, and then we got slapped with a thunderstorm randomly.
Yeah, who knows?
So Who the fuck
Anything more than an hour away, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, fair. Well, go check it out. Always a good time. Food, drinks, people.
Definitely
Get
going
away
to
from your
stream it,
wife.
People.
especially
The
towards
biggest
the
lingering,
end.
lingering
Set up
event of the year.
set up a little stream for the semis and the finals. Hopefully, we can get that sorted and underway.
Sick.
And I believe if Frank's not too busy, he would broadcast it. I don't know if he's going to be umpiring it. He said he doesn't know yet, but we'll find someone to broadcast that game. It'll be fun.
Did they clarify the rules on like which equipment's going to be used? Is there a certain mat size that's going to be? Am I getting ahead of myself?
All that we've learned so far is it's 7 inning games, no courtesy. You can only bat 12, and you can have one sub, and that sub can only enter once and then be exited for the player they sub in for. That's it.
Gotcha.
I feel like that's a new little wrinkle this year. I don't think there's ever been like a sub discussion.
It's kind of a nuisance, honestly.
Wait, you can only bat how many, Don?
12, which I had 11, so I picked up a 12th. But then I was like, one of my players can only really hit, so I was like, let me just get a 13th. How bad could it be in this lineup? And then
And then you learn that. Brutal.
Now I got a sub. I got to deal with.
Why are we only batting 12 when?
I thought your team had. It's like 12 including the women, so it's only 10 guys.
Yeah.
I guess they're trying to prevent teams from batting 15 men and 2 women to kind of make it,
right. That makes sense. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. But the girls can hit yellow balls now for an extra donation.
What?
For a $20 donation, they can hit the Pearl for the day.
For the whole day?
$20 per girl.
That's pretty sick.
But now,
which one's a Pearl? Is that like a soft one or a hard one?
Does that mean Jackie's going to hit a yellow ball all day?
Hold on a minute. Who's paying the $20? The team or the girl?
The team.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a donation. I didn't. You know what? I moseyed on to Union Hill after getting face fucked by Mike Conti, and I just got good news. What do you want from me?
Interesting. I kind of like that though. It's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It gives me an excuse when these girls out hit the shit out of me by a lot. I could just say,
True.
Jackie doesn't listen to this podcast, but go to first.
Gonna make her a walk guy or a walk girl.
You mentioned getting face fucked by Conti. Should we jump into the slate? Any other housekeeping we wanted to take care of?
Right away.
I'm down to
I'm going to light another cigarette, I think, for this.
All right, let's put that game maybe like second or third or fourth. But obviously there was a half rain out, right? Some of the 10:30 games got rained out. We'll get into that. So let's start over at East Francis, where Team Carroll remains hot, 7-3 over Bommenblit, I believe. And John, correct me if I'm wrong. Bommenblit pitched someone new this week?
Nope. Faris pitched the whole game.
Joey came late, and apparently Eric told him if he's going to pitch, he's got to show up 30 minutes early for BP.
Wow.
How will Eric know what time he shows up if Eric shows up 1 minute before the game?
Wow.
This is what I heard.
Gotcha. I mean, it's a reasonable request.
Yeah.
But tell us about your game. Good win, 7-3. Can't imagine it was very exciting.
It wasn't that exciting. Josh Walker absolutely shoved for 9 innings again. He's done it every single game since that one episode that we had.
Still waiting for payment, Tom.
It's insane.
Other than that, listen, our defense has been nice. The pitching's been great. We're kind of hitting. For Team Bommenblit, they were not hitting. That was a little bit concerning. I'm still like, I still believe
you're the last one still in on them.
I'm hesitant to say I'm still in. What I'll say is I still won't be surprised if they get hot at some point this season. That's what I'll say.
I don't know,
but I'm a little bit worried.
What a scorching!
I picked them to win the division, and I'm falling so fast. I jumped out of the plane basically without a parachute. I'm falling way farther down.
He's hoping to hit a body of water down
Do
there.
we have the stats on this game?
I don't know. I don't think I'm hoping to hit the body of water anymore.
We don't have the stats.
I think a couple of games in, I was hoping to hit that body of water. I think I'm just looking to smack right into the ground at this point.
The reason why I'm not worried is because the top of their lineup, at least against us, was kind of horrible. Like,
It's been them all year.
which, like, I just, you cannot convince me in a million years that Eric Baumanblit is going to go hitless. Also, like, you cannot convince me that he's not going to turn it on in a 22-game season. He's going to turn it on in a 22-game season. Steve Fry hit a bomb after I told Parker to take 2 steps in.
Nice.
So I lost his trust. Told him to come in on the next guy. I said, "I'm."
I can't believe you had it for this long, honestly.
Was Parker in left or
Parker was in left because we were missing Easton, Laps, and
Is that Steve Fry's second double? So does he have more doubles than Eric? What was it, a triple?
This for this bomb and blit team, we saw them Wednesday night against Goddard. They scored 6 runs, looked defeated after the second inning, and then they showed up the next day and scored 3 runs against a team that traditionally gives up a lot of runs. Like, that doesn't. It scares. That's scary. That's very scary. The vibes we were getting from them Wednesday that look like now they carried over to a Sunday. Like, I'm panicking. I'm panicking if I'm Eric, because it doesn't seem like they're having any fun.
Yeah, it's a rough look from having a really bad day on a Wednesday night to then following it up with an even worse day on a Sunday. And the vibes just don't seem right, and everybody just kind of doesn't seem like themselves on that team. And I don't know if, like, I know we said it for you guys. I don't know, like, for them, I don't think there's a fix, because they're kind of just locked into a lot of their positions where Richie and Eric are going to be your second baseman and your shortstop. You're going to have Joe Tracy and Juraski out there in the outfield. And that's Padola's going to be in the outfield. Tony, you could, I guess, move around, but are you really going to play Tony at third?
I don't know.
If they would have lost this game like 14-8, I'd have been like, all right, Joey can pitch and maybe they could make it interesting. But 7-3, it doesn't matter.
Right. They got to just find a way to want to play. I think that's the easy answer. They got to want it.
And I noticed it on Wednesday. Are they just allergic to walking? They don't take any pitches. They don't try and get on base, put some pressure on a defense. A lot of first pitch swings. I think maybe even on Wednesday I saw a couple 3-1 swings. Like, give it unselfish at bat. Be there for your team. Cowboys giving up 7 runs in that game. You got to win that game.
Right. You would think. All right. Anything else on this one, folks? Let's move on to your game, Osh. Goldfarb over Klaczynski, 10-8. Klaczynski covered the 6.5 crazy line. No Fluta due to him being too hungover from his engagement party. Congrats, Cole.
Not even hungover, still drunk, apparently.
How'd this game go? Was it ever in doubt at 10-8 or?
I mean, Klaczynski definitely. I mean, we saw it, and I guess we'll get to it maybe after this. I don't know, but their night game, they were just a scrappy team all day. They brought out the speaker. They seemed like they were having some fun. Not having Cole definitely hurt. Bijou was playing shortstop, and on a field where they don't cut the outfield grass, and you have to play 10,000 feet back in the outfield because any fly ball just goes. It's definitely tough getting to those grounders that make it through. But found a way to win, even without Cole, no Hartley, no Doug. Still found a way to get it done. A lot of guys hung over. Scrappy.
I will say, I feel like Billy Chisano won this game for you guys again.
Big ball Billy. That's
turned
What
a
do you
double
do?
play by himself early on.
The best 13 in the league. Glenn
He
tried to
smoked
say
the ball that brought up Villani that hit like a double or triple after. Then Whalen cleared the bases. That was like a big 4 or 5 run inning.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all Billy turn it over to the top, I think, with 2 outs because I think Becker makes the last out of that inning after Nick and Whalen kind of clear all the bases. But there was another time, first and second, was it the second inning early on, or maybe it was even the first inning? A ball was smoked by him. He catches it, throws it to second base, gets the guy out, kind of sneaking off there. Ends the inning
double
early.
play?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Frew. No,
Yeah.
Jerry Tilker actually.
Frew was at second. Yes.
No,
Yeah.
Frew was on. Somebody was on base. Jerry Tilker waits on the ball, slaps it to first base. Honestly, beautiful ball by Jerry. But Billy just snapped them off and just was able to turn a double play because the guy was just off the base going. But Glenn tried to say on the broadcast when they played Rosenstock that he has the best 13 in the league. Not a chance. It's Billy Boy.
Billy Boy.
Not even close.
Yeah, behind Ray.
Sorry,
Garcia, yeah. Let's be honest here.
Gruesome Tuesday, baby.
Throw Ray Porzio in front of the catcher's plate, and then you might have the best thing. Billy's doing it for us defensively and offensively.
Whoa. Ray's calling a great game back there. Him and Josh. Josh has not shuck him off one time.
There won't be any Ray Porzio slander from me, so.
I love Ray. I'm just saying.
It doesn't sound like you love Ray.
It sounds like he loves Billy
Thank you,
more,
Don.
though.
I do. I love Billy Moore. I don't dislike Ray.
That sounds like you do.
Listen, ever since that episode, you've been such a homer. Stop. It's over. We got you a 3-game win streak. Let's move on.
No.
All right, let's move on. Team Klashinsky, after the 2-run loss, comes back at night and shuts down Wallman. Walked him off, right? 7-6. In 9, Wallman's first game got canceled, so this was Wallman's first game. I like the fight that I saw from Klashinsky in this game coming back. They were down the whole time, fought back, kept it close. They played well enough. But this Wallman team, man, really, really, really disappointed me. Really the first time I've got to see them play in person in a while, and I was sad.
Yeah.
What'd you make of it, Dom?
You guys, I've been saying this for weeks, and I've been getting a lot of shit around the league. Chase is responsible for 5 runs of their 6, and that's how it is. Also, they're very top heavy, and they have no juice.
Yeah.
No juice.
Well, Dom, it's crazy because we looked at that stat last week where Chase was like 12 of their 20 RBIs or 20 extra base hits, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
He's an absolute freak. And their team looks so good. When you see them individually, all their sum is lesser than their parts, and I think Todd's a good coach too. So I just think, I don't know what it is. And we did see, like, they don't get really fired up at the right times. We were talking about on the broadcast, chasing an absolute fucking bomb onto Union Hill left. Well into right field, and there's no one out of the dugout. There's no one clapping, cheering, excitement.
Nothing.
I would blow the man that hits that ball for me at this point.
Right on the field.
Are you fucking kidding me? And it was the second of the game. Like, if you can't get excited for that, what are we doing out here?
Right.
It's even the little things for me too, because I believe Ryan Wallman hits a ground ball. I think he beat out an infield single in that game. Not a peep from the side.
Right.
Not a peep from their dugout. Be excited for one of your guys who gives a hustle play to spark something for you guys.
Even the ball in right center where Billy Allen dove, he picked it up, threw the guy out at second. Like, those little plays get me amped. Like, fuck yeah, Ryan, atta boy.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Bro, let me tell you.
I mean,
Just Todd going.
I'm pretty sure Chase gave him something, but like it can't just come from Chase because you could hear Chase throughout the whole game. You could hear DiNapoli throughout the whole game.
And especially
And
hustle plays, those have got to get a team going. They get our,
Oh, yeah.
those get our Easton gets our team going with hustle plays all the time. At least it gets me going. But let me say something about Ryan Wallman. If he can just hit the ball softly on the ground to the left side, he might hit 900 this year. It's impossible.
He's got to ask Ben. He's got to ask Ben about the bunt.
He is so fast out of the box.
This Klaczynski team, I will say, I think they gave Goldfarb a good run for their money. Sands the second best shortstop in the league. And then that night they came excited, music playing. Taco was playing better at third base. I didn't see him bobble a ball or make a mistake in either game on Sunday. Mikey is getting better at shortstop. They got guys that can hit the ball. And when they're walking in, they were down like 6-2 at one point, far into the game. Ben was saying it's over. It looked like it was over. They got guys waiting for each other to walk in together. They're missing their two on top of it, right? They're missing their left center fielder. They're missing their two. Every single time Jesse Panacity gets a hit, Taco saying, good job, Justin. Frew gets into the box. You know what? As soon as Frew gets in there, stay hot, Frew. Do your thing. Every single one of them is vocal, man. Right. Kevin and Mike are a great fucking time. And maybe they're not. Maybe we have to let them know that someone should be running at second base when the game-winning run is there. They were one to run.
And you have the fastest kid in the league.
Yeah,
just waiting to run.
Yes, exactly. Maybe they're not the greatest tacticians, but man, I think you would have never guessed which team was the one with the better record or the better team on paper.
I agree.
And how about Taco's outfit? Dressed like Jose Canseco. He looked.
When I spoke to, I'm changing topics, John. So apologies. When I spoke to Taco after the game,
like a my player,
and I asked him like what changed, he said that they're embracing the suck at this point. Like when you're gonna show up on Sunday and you expect to lose. Let's lose and have fun. And sometimes that turns into a 2-run loss against a good team and a walk-off win. Right. And if they take that approach instead of trying to take themselves maybe too serious, might be like what they need to become competitive again.
Sometimes not giving a fuck just kind of relieves all of that pressure to like feel the need to have to outperform and overperform. And it makes you honestly play worse.
They're not a team that should miss their two and expect to win against this, one of the best players in the league on the other side. And especially when that guy has 5 RBIs, but they really did. And they're like Jesse is getting better in the outfield.
Justin was fantastic in right
center.
Way
better. And they're getting constant reps all the time, nonstop. I was very impressed with Taco. I know we beat up on him a bunch earlier in the weeks, and probably rightfully so, but now those plays he's making those plays. He's making the right decisions. He's in the right spot. I saw Junior make a play against you guys, Ush, where it looked like such a tough play, and he just looked like a guy that had been playing shortstop for a long time. And I think he's a freakazoid, and I think they could score 10 runs a game. I think they're better than this Wallman team.
I think them putting Russ at pitcher really has made a difference for them where, even Ronnie Pacheco is playing a really solid second base.
Juicing everyone up too.
Yeah, and I thought that, pretty sure we said that second base maybe was one of their bad positions.
Yeah, Brent was playing there.
And Jordan can be serviceable at second, but not for 9 innings.
Right.
And now you get him at first base, a nice big target.
Right.
Can catch the ball. Really makes it easier on all of your infielders as well. Because we threw Jordan at first base last year, and he made some, stretching plays and stuff like that. And I think knowing your first baseman can do that really, makes it easier on the fielders to like throw the ball.
Oh, yeah.
I know for me personally, when I was playing third, when like you had a first baseman that you had to worry about, really makes it harder on you because you have to make that perfect throw.
And I think they all want to be there. And when I look at the Wallman side, until someone else outside of Nick and Chase really decide that they're gonna, come and light it up for 9 straight innings, it just doesn't look like it. I don't know.
Yep. I'm with
Looking
you.
at their team, though, I don't really know where it comes from either, though.
I mean, Vince Caputo hit a 2-run home run when we were down by a ton in the 9th inning with 2 outs, and everybody was
Way more excited.
electrified by it and him.
Yeah.
And Chase just hits his second home run in the game to increase the lead of a very winnable game on Union
Right.
Hill. And it just looks like it was more exciting looking at the Goddards and Pingaro on the sidelines than watching watching Team Walnut play.
Are we concerned about when this losing streak started and when Mark Maggiorello shaved the mustache? Like, what if they're correlated?
Right.
That might be that he might need it back.
I was about to bring up the losing streak because
Did he not have it on Sunday?
No, it's the first time I realized it's gone. I'm concerned.
Has it been gone since they?
People are asking.
I don't know.
Someone needs to fact check me. But
Mustache
people are
gate.
asking when that was shaved and when they started losing.
Mustache gate.
Mustache gate.
They
All right,
were
let's move on to the next one.
4-1, and now they're 4-5. That's a little concerning.
A little bit. Just a little bit. All right, shall we move on to the next one? I don't think we could have to be too long-winded on this one, but Lombardi lost again. Shocker. This time in a different fashion than normal. 24-16 to Drzezinski. Shout out to Lombardi for scoring as many runs in this game as they have combined in their last
no.
What is it, 4?
3.
Oh,
3.
damn it.
So, yeah. Shout out to them.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Tell you what, this Drashinsky's team is just scoring a ton of runs now. I felt like they were fugazi, but maybe they're not.
Right
And
when you feel
Lombardi
like
had a
that's
tight-
when they turn it on.
They've been very hot and cold.
From what I understand, they were supposed to have a doubleheader with Marone, and they said they didn't want to do it because there was a lot of time in between. And they only had 10, but they were missing like their 12, 13, and 6. It was like a perfect 10 to kind of try to roll through. So that's why Eddie, the San Diegos, they probably batted 6 times in this game.
Right.
They scored 16 runs, and they probably all had great days. And I think that's not a bad, that's not a bad way to try to roll some dice and try to. Who the fuck is at the front of my house?
Which these guys are all over the place.
What a disaster. He's probably tending to the same bullshit I'm tending to.
Unbelievable.
I guarantee you my family just knocked on his door. They're dropping something off there. I said, leave it in the garage. I bet he's doing.
That's exactly because he just said it. Who the fuck is in front of my house?
Yeah,
It's Miss B.
Wow.
Don, we knew they were dropping stuff off. They knew we were recording too, and my mom still felt the need to call me.
She just
I
wants to
rang
say
my doorbell. I'm like, who the hell is out there?
Bro, they don't know how to follow instructions, bro. Hilarious.
That's where your brother gets it from.
Yeah. I missed the entire conversation, so whoever wants to pick it up, I'll clean it up and make it look better.
I was just going to say, for me, like, this Seth team has just been, like, kind of up and down all year. A couple of their guys are not hitting to the backs of their card here. Seth's having a tough go to start the season. So is Santa Marita. JR's having a really good year. So
They're
is
scoring
Andy
13 runs a
Parkman.
game. You're telling me they're scoring 13 runs a game and their 1 and 2 are not having good seasons so far? Is that true? That's horrific.
It's wild.
Yeah. But I think that's what makes the difference between, like, them being that really good team that we think they are and them kind of just, like, hovering around currently. Because they're getting contributions from everybody else. It seems like, anyway. I mean, Joey's not hitting great. Joey's only hitting 300.
Andy and
I think.
JR are hitting 600. Amazing.
Yeah. JR, a lot of extra base hits, a couple walks.
Parks is hitting 320.
I mean, they've scored over 10 runs in. Oh, no, this is a loss. 24, 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of their 8 games, they've scored over 10 runs. They've scored 24. They've scored 15. They've scored 23. So this team has it in them. They have the juice in them.
Mhm.
They've done it on 3 different types of field, too. Union Hill, right, they scored 23. Manalapan 5, they scored 15. Freehold, they scored 24.
Even in some of their wins, though, like the 7-5 win against Pollock, the 7-6 win against you guys, the win against you guys, I thought they really needed to make a statement because you guys were missing so many people. But I don't know. I feel like the runs that they've averaged are due to their 2 big outbursts of 20 runs and not due to the fact that they do it consistently.
Are you more concerned the fact they gave up 16 to Lombardi? Because that's borderline blasphemous.
They had a tight 10. They were missing 11, 12, and 6.
Yeah. A tight 10 is kind of nice.
Andy's their 6.
Makes a big difference. Bigger than you would think.
Incredible.
Yeah, fair.
I'm not concerned about this team going forward. It's just
they concern me.
They'll figure it out. I'm not worried about that. Just I think that's a reason why some teams are maybe a little cooler on them at this current moment, even though they only have 2 losses. I think 3 losses.
All right, yeah, 5-3. All right, shall we move on?
Real quick, 2 stats that lead me to believe Seth will definitely improve. Their team will definitely get better. Santa, and these stats are a week old. Santa's hitting 417. Seth is hitting 393. Those are obviously both going to go up a lot.
Yeah.
Their on base percentage is 500 each. Santa's still slugging like 800.
Well, Seth always walks a lot. Seth is actually the true walk king, to be honest with you.
Cut that.
Yeah, I actually do. Please do cut that. I regret it already.
I knew you'd regret it.
All right, I'll cut it. All right, let's move on. Dom, can we talk about you guys getting – or let's do this one. LaRocca, Pollock, LaRocca 10-8. Anyone have thoughts on this one? Business was handled. I didn't expect this to go any other way.
I like the Dennis O'Connor flex. That was fun. Tino had an absolute day. I think he had like 2 triples and a double. But I thought Pollock hung in there really well. They were missing AJ, and I think it just further kind of, Matt is Matt. I think he's an incredible manager, but why is he not just pitching? I know he's missing a playoff game, but there are other guys in the league that can pitch for one game. There's so many, and AJ is one of the best pitchers in the league. But you could draft someone in that second. That's a high value second round spot.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt pitched a great game. He held the number 1 offense in the league to 10 runs. They had to scratch for all of it too, and I think Pollock's team is one team that's better than their record. I look at their team, and I think that if they figured out how to put it all together, I think they're a pain in the ass. But Frank's team is very good. They had an off day, arguably, and they still won a game.
Yep.
Looking back at the second round, who would you want Pollock to take instead of AJ at that point?
Villani, easy.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because Mitch is playing left center for them. And Mitch is fucking great, but he should be. Oh, Corey. Yeah, sorry.
Left center.
Yeah, I mean, I still think
Villani's.
Villani.
And I'd rather have Mike Villani than Pete Coco.
I think Villani's a 1, so I think if you're getting that kind of value.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. I personally think this Pollock team is going to continue to, like you said, fight and scratch. But ultimately, I don't think they'll. I don't think this season's for them. But LaRocca,
they're a less sexy Pingaro team. They're the same as Pingaro. They're just less juicy, to me.
Sure. And Pollock or LaRocca takes care of business. They don't ask how. Take it and get out. So what? You're not too offensively powerful today.
Yeah. One more thing about LaRocca. Dennis O'Connor, if you're listening, and I know you are, bring the rec baseball pants back, dude.
Ridiculous. Crazy.
Didn't
Shame.
he say to us on their Wednesday night game, though, that he plays worse in the rec pants, and that's why he doesn't wear them?
Hit a bomb versus us in the rec pants.
We don't care. Wear them.
We need them. We need them. All right, let's move on here to you guys, Dom. 8-4 in what is one of the most boring softball games I've ever seen played. What's
Fast, at least. You're welcome. That's what I tell women. I'm not good, but I'm fast.
what happened? What happened?
They are who we thought they were.
I mean,
We're learning a lot about Dom's relationship with several types of women.
anyway, there's a gloss over that. I honestly felt like it was like a 2-1 or a 3-1 game in the 7th inning, and it felt morose.
What does that word mean for those of us following along at home?
Shout out to Conti. You know, he did not get a hit off of me, but he did have a very good game in a lot of other ways. And he complimented my vocabulary. So
Well, I mean,
it's nice that he doesn't malign the veracity of my etymological prowess. So I'm glad that he
Jesus.
appreciates
Dom.
it. And
Morose.
I'm doing this for one person. Yeah, good. Do it.
Morose. It's an adjective meaning sullen or ill-tempered. Can I use it in a sentence, you asked, John? Yes, I can. She was morose and silent when she got home. Morose.
It was sullen and downtrodden. I just wanted to, you know, we have a very fixable issue, which is if we score 8 runs, we can probably win all these games. We just, you know, that's less than 1 run an inning.
But
is that a fixable issue?
it's not very likely, given what I see from your team.
I mean, we do it so. I mean, I can't. I have.
Dom, I've got a question.
Yeah.
If you had to call out one player on your team, who would it be?
How are you going to ask him to do that?
Great question.
Such a hypocrite.
I'm a hypocrite.
No, he's
No,
gone. Yeah.
him.
Oh, I was gonna say shit. I'll answer
He's going to
that. I
ask
wanna
you
be
to
a
call
hypocrite.
He almost
Yeah, your
answered.
team.
Answer. Stop.
Can you ask me a different question?
Can I answer that question?
Yes, you can.
John, can I answer? Is that allowed? I think the answer is Dave Meyer.
Wow.
Ooh.
I will fight
Go
you
on.
to the death. But go ahead.
I'm ready.
Feel like you guys are 13 individuals playing 13 different games on that field. I don't see a team. At no point watching you guys play on Sunday do I feel like you guys were playing softball as a team. I see Dave after Brian Frank gets walked. Let me stop here. You guys all swing at the first pitch so much. So much. There was an inning, dude. 2-1, bottom 3. The bottom of the order comes up. I paused it when Greg started the first pitch to the first batter of the inning. The timestamp was 26:51. Joe Mamone caught the third out at 27:49. It was less than a 2-minute inning.
Is that bad?
It was less than a 1-minute inning. They saw 3 pitches. They hit 3 lazy fly balls, and it was a 49-second inning. 59-second inning, sorry.
Like Dom said,
It was
fast.
less than a minute.
Yeah.
So I see everyone swinging at the first pitch. I see Brian Frank walk on 3 uncompetitive pitches, and then Dave Meyer get up and swing at the first pitch and hit a lazy fly ball. Later in the game, Dave Meyer.
No, that's
also
the way Nicky
first
made a
pitch
crazy
swinging.
play.
No, you're right. That was the Nicky Noki player, right? Later in the game, he swings again first pitch, lazy fly ball in a close game.
But
Those types of things, you're not all playing as a unit. Dave swinging at the first pitch, and now everyone else is swinging at the first pitch. Like, get it under control a little bit. Bruce Cotter's playing way too many innings at third base for the quality of third base you're getting. You have a different first baseman at every inning. There was a ball Pete K threw to Craig Tepper. Didn't even look like Craig saw it. I think that was Craig's only inning playing first base. So now how's Craig's confidence going to be playing first base that
Right.
he got one inning, he made an error, and he didn't get back out there? So I feel like things are just off the rails. People sulking, people pointing fingers. After that Tepper error where Pete K threw it away, you, Dave, and Pete K all went like, what was that? And I didn't hear anyone be like, hey, Tep, we'll get you. Don't worry
Right.
about it. Like, no one tried to pick Craig up.
Right.
Everyone just looked like, what the fuck was that?
Great point, Marty.
Like,
And
where's
Tep would pick you up.
where's anything else?
Marty,
That's my
Marty,
biggest
let me
issue
say
with
one
you guys.
thing about
I'm done with my soliloquy. Go on.
Tep at first. Tep played a lot of first base for us last year, and he was solid. And that's,
I didn't know our marriage bed was a 1,200 thread count charade, Martin. This is
great defense. We're breaking out the
what
vocabulary again.
what are we what listen I don't think the hands up was because Craig didn't make a play or made a mistake or whatever. I think it was more confusion because you can't see from the angle, but he essentially puts his hand down and the ball kind of goes almost hits the runner in the head. It's like eye level. It's not a ball that's out of control. So I think the confusion was kind of like, what the hell happened? It wasn't like it was. I think it was just that we were just so because he had his glove out and then he took his glove away and the ball just kind of. So I think in that moment it was like complete shock what had happened. And, Tappet did have a tough day, but he's been hitting really great for us. And, up until Joe, and that's the first bad play that Joe's made all season. So I'm not going to rake Joe over the coal. Him and Vince have been our best two players, bar none. It was 5-2 with 2 outs in the ninth, and we got the ground ball we wanted. It was just kind of rushed, thrown away, and now 3 more runs are scoring. So we gave up 5 runs, and one of those runs again, like bad communication. And I agree, like first base has been my whole thing is first base has been a little bit of a shaky situation for us. I mean, Martin, you saw it when we played. Like we have to fix that spot. The lack of yes, I agree with you about Bruce. The amount of innings doesn't bother me as much as the stakes in the innings that he's in, if that makes sense. Like
the 7th inning of a close game.
Yes, and again, we're not going to win any game scoring 4 runs. We're definitely not going to win any game scoring 2 runs going into the ninth. Like Vince hitting that 2-run home run at the end of the game with 2 outs saves the way this game looks. And I can kind of agree with you. It feels like the making of an entire team, and we have the puzzle pieces maybe in the wrong places. And I think once we start to shift around those puzzle pieces in the right way, we make it. Listen, we're only going to give up 7-8 runs a game, so we have a chance to win any week.
Dom, how much shuffling around on defense are you guys doing? Like shuffling guys in and out of spots?
I mean, we rotate at first between Louis, Tep, Bilar. We rotate at catcher between Pugliese, Tep, Bilar. Right field, we rotate between Frank and Louis. Left field, Frank plays a couple innings, but Curdy plays most of it. Third base, we rotate between Dave and Bruce. So,
do you think
quite a bit?
Do you think there's anything to like a guy like those are all the positions you besides 1 or 2 of them that you've said there might be some problems at? Do you think there's anything to like because that's to go back to Taco real quick? Like we I think we all kind of said that. At least I did a little bit about like put a guy there, stick a guy there early, let him get comfortable. But also, I don't know, like, because obviously you got to give everybody their 3 innings, so maybe that's why you're doing it.
It's shifting too many guys in and out.
Yeah.
It's way too much rotation. Like, you
Yeah,
could easily catch 3 guys for 3 innings, and there's your 9 innings, and you filled your innings there. You could still, rotate guys at first base, and still.
Because the one thing I hate hearing is a guy makes an error and he gets pulled, and that's it. That's it for him playing that spot for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we start pressing because again, we're lifeless in the 7th inning with only 1 run scored in the game. And it's not like lifeless in the sense of like we're not excited for each other. We just don't have anything to get excited about. You know what I mean? It's not like
Right.
It's not like we're in a situation where there are things to be excited about. Like we just begging for something somewhere. And it's just been every time we try to get a little momentum, we shoot ourselves in the foot a little bit. And it's kind of, it's starting to weigh on us.
Right.
I can feel it. I can see it. Everyone's, getting tight, whether it's swinging at the first pitch or not swinging at the right pitches or, those kind of little things. Now you're pressing on defense. Like I know Tap, when he was playing third, he was catching. He went to go cover behind third base, and the guy on third just scores. There's no one there. I know he's trying to help everybody. It's like it's a 2-1 game. It's a 3-1 game, and we're playing like we're down 20, and it's like it's the winner go home game, and we all start pressing and going a little bit crazy, and we have over aggressive shit. Like we played the shifts of a team that like sometimes that were desperate. We kind of
that shift on Nichols was crazy. You just literally vacated second base. You threw him an inside pitch, and he had just had a routine line drive to the right side, and it was an easy double.
Dom, what is with you in vacating second base?
That was that is my fault. I will say the first time he came up, we did the same shift and he hit the ball right up the middle as I was going to play second base. Then when I came back in, I was told that going up the middle is as far right as this individual can go. So I figured next time when I play the position, I'm going to kind of lean to the left, like I'm going to go play second base and just plant where I am and see if he tries it again.
Mm-hmm.
And no, he just hit in the open by the biggest, like he could have drove a truck through that fucking thing. But again, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's a 3-1 game, and this is what I'm fucking thinking about. And it's like we could try to shave off 1 run, and we're still losing that game. We're still losing the game,
right?
And that's
last thing I just wanted to say on the taking a pitch once in a while point I made because I just looked it up. You guys have 12 walks on the year. I think this is before this week. There's 7 games listed on Doug's stats. For you guys, 12 walks. The league average for a team is 20. You are in second to last.
Guess who has a quarter of those walks?
Klashinsky has 10. Marone has 13. You guys have 12. And everyone else is much higher than that. So
I should not lead the team in walks. That's like my biggest thing,
Yep. On Conti's side,
you want guys to swing. Obviously, the best guys, you want them to be aggressive and swing. But there are also guys. How many games have you guys been in when you watch the pitcher just lose it for 2 or 3 guys? And it could be 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 12, whatever it is. We don't get.
I like
Goddard.
I like that Vince Caputo leading off the game sees 4 pitches, 5 pitches every single at bat.
Yeah.
Like that's leading by example.
Yes, incredible. He's been incredible for us. We just have to put it together. I believe in us. I believe that we can play better ball than this. And I don't believe as we're giving up the 4th, like I think we have the 4th lowest runs against in the league. I see a lot of hope that we can still put it together.
Do you feel like a team at all or no?
I
Do
feel
you feel
like
like it's a lot of selfishness in a lot of the ways that some people are playing?
I feel like it's I feel like it's we are a team, but we are a team you can tell when things are good and you can tell when they are bad. And that is not good.
Mhm.
You could see it when we're down by 3-4 runs after the fourth or fifth inning. You don't even if you walk to the game. Let's say we're playing 11:30 at Union Hill, and you just played at 10:30, and you walked up to the field. You would not have to ask a person the score of our game. You could just look at our bench, and you would know immediately if we were winning or losing. And I don't think that's good. I think we have to take a little bit of a page out of Klashinsky's book and just get a little looser, have a little bit more fun, and realize that if you're down 3-1 in the seventh inning of the game,
Who gives a fuck?
way to have fun still and be in a good mood and be loose and relaxed and kind of rely. We haven't done it yet. We haven't been down and come back. And until we do that, I think we're going to be always struggling with the doubt if we are able to do it or
Right.
not.
And I've always said you guys have one of the best group of guys in the league, so it should be easy
Love
to have
them.
fun. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Going back to my one point about having a big target at first base with Klashinsky. I know that you guys have B Frank out there in right field. Do you think him going to first base at all helps you or hurts you in the long run?
I think it's hard to find 5 people in the league I love more than Dave Meyer and that I trust more than Dave. And whenever he feels like that is the right move to make, I trust that he will make it. And I think he's trying not to panic yet. I think he feels like water will find its natural level. And I think that every week we're getting ever closer to that. Do some people want it? Yes. But I trust Dave to know what the right thing is to do and how to do it. So
Very political.
I think I think we're going to start to see Brian there more, just based on what I've kind of heard from Dave. I think after this week, after this loss to Conti, where they had all 13, we had a really good shot to win this game on a big field. We could have won this game 17-6, like we did all the other open field games, and we could have just gone on our merry way, losing every time on a small, whatever it is. But I think losing this game, I think this kind of makes things, I think judging by how it was last season at this point, this is about the time when Dave started to shake. He hit lead off. He changed some guys around on the team in the infield. So I think this is probably we're getting close to the time.
On the Conti side, winners of 3 straight, 4 out of their last 5. And things seem to be coming together for a team that this podcast, me personally, I was super high on them at the beginning of the year, quit on them, and now I'm trying to buy a ticket back on. I think I'm still allowed back on, but this is the Conti team that I feel like I thought they were, that I've seen play recently. And it's been very encouraging. I think it's good for the league that this team is good.
Greg's
I
playing
think
incredible. I just want to say that.
Credit to myself.
Kid Jared is very good too. He's like a rabid fucking mongoose, and Greg is playing incredible defense. I know Nicky made an incredible play, but 2 times in this game, Greg covering first base like a fucking wild mongoose saved them an out
Yeah.
in a big spot. And he made another couple plays up the middle. This is the best I've seen Greg play, so far.
for sure. Anything on Team Conti, John or Ush?
That kind of just on the same path as you are. I mean, I was high on them to start the season. I had them coming. I think I had Bomb and Blit and then them for their division, and then so they're kind of coming to form, just kind of what I thought they would be. I thought they checked a lot of boxes. They have a really good team, and them getting Perone just helps even more as the replacement for Kuchma. So welcome back, Rob Perone.
Yeah. Credit to myself. Never hopped off this team. I've been saying it the whole time. They're going to turn it around. Here's my next prediction, though. And I'm not kidding about this because this is a little bit early for the Conti heat up. They're going to get cold. You guys are all going to jump off them again. I'll stay on them, and then they'll heat right back up before the playoffs.
No, they'll heat back up in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, sure. Yes.
I will say they have a very interesting stretch coming up. Trzynski, Carroll, Wallman, LaRocca.
Yeah, we've got them this Sunday.
Good time
Should
for a
be,
cold streak.
or they're about to play a tough stretch at the right time.
Improve their
A
medal.
lot of confidence. So we'll see what happens with them. All right, we bring on a very special guest, a man who needs no introduction, so we'll keep it short. The Gabagool. What's going on, Pat?
How you doing, boys?
Fantastic.
Doing great, Pat.
I think the real question is, how you doing? You able to survive all the drama that's going on? Is the cardiologist on standby?
No, it's listen. We'll put the Matt Gate, whatever the fuck you want to call it, aside for a second. The temper's flaring at the game. I don't really care about that stuff. Actually, sometimes I enjoy it. It was never going to escalate to anything other than what we've seen on many fields before, right? There were enough people there to stop it from escalating. As far as this whole plate thing, let me just tell you my side, okay? Everyone knows my color is blue and gold. I tried to get a new mat this year. I wanted Eddie to cut me a new mat, blue and gold. I gave him my mat. I think he had an extra one. He does not drive around with 3 mats. Let's kill that story right off the bat. All my stuff is in Ed's car. That's all that's in there. He gave one, I think, to Pollock, one, I think, to either Klashinsky or Tommy. I don't know who he gave the other one to. He cut me a new mat. Obviously, he used the wrong size. But, Marty, if I pulled 17 captains on Saturday night at 10 o'clock and said, tell me the measurement of the mat, do you think they knew what the measurements were?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? So I have no idea what they are. I can't even put a light bulb in. So I'm not, I don't know. It got down to the field. I think Mark went to put his mat out, and this thing was like a placemat. It was like paper thin. Eddie didn't want it. Yes, he threw it over the backstop. And then the whole measuring thing came up. I'm going to take Ed for his word. I got to take Ed for his word. He made a mistake. 19 inches by 34 and a half is what the ASA tells you a mat should be. That's what he cut it to. I don't see how anyone thinks it's an advantage. I haven't won a fucking home game yet, so that doesn't help. But that's my side of it, Marty. I'm going to back my guy. He apologized more times than I would ever see Ed apologize for anything. And that's it. I believe him. I don't know how you could accuse somebody. Like, when you start going after someone's integrity, you better have the facts. If you say someone's cheating on purpose, you got to be able to prove that. Could anyone prove that he was cheating on purpose?
I don't think you can prove intention in this sense.
Right. So if you can't prove intention, how do you attack someone's character? When you start saying that he's changing balls in between innings, I mean, Jesus Christ, are you crazy? Come on, Marty. He gets the ball from me. I give it to him every game, every inning. I'm at first base. I get the ball from the outfield to the infield, and I hand it to him. If he was doing that, do you really think I would allow that? I would not allow that. That's blatant cheating. I'm not going to allow that. So that's my side of it, Marty. I'm sure everyone has an opinion here, and I respect everyone's opinion to have an opinion. I'm just giving you mine. That's it.
As far as opinions go, I mean, I don't necessarily, have one. Hence why I made myself juror number 1. I'm here to listen to all sides of the story here and, kind of make my own determination from that.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that, as you stated to start, the behavior on the field was a little, I mean, you like to see a little bit of fire. It might be a little inexcusable. I mean, you shouldn't throw a mat. You shouldn't be, calling people jerk offs or whatever. shouldn't attack anybody personally that way. So I think that was handled poorly.
That's
But
fair. That's totally fair.
as far as the mat, we'll never, like you've all said, we'll never know the true intentions of it because we can't, uncover it. But there's a lot of different stories kind of floating around, so it's hard to really piece together one.
Well, Ush,
So,
I'm gonna comment on that for a second, okay? Like you just said, there's a bunch of different stories going around, right? The fact that Ed sent emails, either apologizing or whatever, like, do you think it's helpful that those emails get out? Like, if I have a problem with Dom, I'm gonna handle it with Dom, and I would ask Dom, and I would think Dom would handle it like a man also, and handle it with me. Like, all this stuff that gets out only does more damage.
I agree with you 1,000%. I think it's because where Ed sits in the position of power, it feels like you have no other recourse but to get the group on your side. Not,
Well, you know what, Dom? Optics is everything, right?
yeah,
He's a board member, so the optics look bad
yeah.
because he's a board member. I have
Because
read,
he's a board member in charge of making the mats and has
right.
made many mats before. Like,
I mean,
this isn't the first mat he's making. This is
exactly
the 19th minimum.
like what a shit show, right? Like when I called him and I said to him on Sunday, like, you need to check this. And he came back to me and goes, oh, fuck, I fucked up. I'm like, well, you better handle this because you are in charge of making the match. But Marty, it goes beyond that. Like, I get like he's in charge of physically making the match, right? But the optics of being a board member, and now it's viral, right? Now it's on video. So everyone has an opinion. And let's be honest, on Facebook, you see this board gets attacked way too much, in my opinion. That's just me, right? I've been in the league for a lot of years. So I don't like that stuff, but it happens. So the fact that he's a board member, I get where people are coming from. But I'm just telling you, I have to believe my guy that it wasn't intentional. That's it.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't necessarily. The origins of the mat, the reason the mat is being used, none of that is necessarily your prerogative where you have to worry about your team every morning. You have someone that you rely on to bring the equipment. Some other teams do. I was talking to one captain. He said, I don't have anyone that is willing to handle my equipment, but if someone volunteered, I would absolutely love to offload that burden. Right. So I don't think like that captain would give his player mat, say it's Mike Lashinsky gives Taco his mat. That mat's going to get carried to Taco's place, back to the field, put down, back to Taco's and get put down, right?
Yep.
Where that mat comes from, came from Goddard, right? So you're saying it's your mat. Ed's responsible for it. Ed has to bring it. That kind of takes a little bit of the burden off of you. Where did the mat come from? You know what I mean? I think that's where people are questioning, why did he start that? It's not necessarily like he might have been keeping it from you that he was using an illegally small mat.
He could have, but again, we can't prove that, right? But you know, Marty, I'm not hiding from this either. It's my team, right? So that's why I made sure I was there Wednesday night, and I saw you, I saw Sandegate, I saw Dom, right? I wanted my face to be down there if anyone wanted to question me. I wasn't running from it, but I'm being totally honest with you that I do not carry my own mat, nor did I ever even know the dimensions of the mat. So I did trust him to do it, and he fucked up. He made a mistake. I'm going to go with that. He made a mistake, and I have to believe him. But I'm not expecting you or Dom or Hemp or Ush to believe him. That's just my feeling. And again, optics are everything. And the fact that it's a board member, I get all the hoopla about it. But what more do you want him to do but apologize? That's it.
One follow-up I have is, how do you feel, right? It was Jeff comes out, measures the mat, finds out it's short.
Yep.
The escalation that occurred from him breaking out that ruler to the next 4 minutes, do you feel like that could have been handled better from both your side and from Mark's side? Because it went 0 to 100 very, very quickly. And I
Well,
feel like that type of situation could have been handled differently on both sides.
I will agree with you 1,000%. I will say anyone that knows me on this podcast has known me for years. I do go 0 to 100, so I can't say, I can't go after someone else for going 0 to 100 because people have known me. That's the way I am. But yes, that should have been handled better. When I put Jeff's mat down, and I think that's on the video, you see me putting it down, I was ready to move on. Okay, I wanted the game just to get moving. As stupid as it sounds, I knew Anthony Tirano had to get out of there for the baptism. I was trying to get him out of there on time too. So I just wanted the game to get going. Once the mat got thrown, I said, oh boy, we're going to be in for it here. And you just knew it was going to blow up. Again, do I mind blow-ups? I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say, yeah, I do. No, I don't. But I'm going to take full ownership of that. Let's keep Ed off of that. Let's keep Jeff off of that. That's for me and Mark to handle. And I think we both could have done better jobs of that. Fair enough?
I will say I looked at your games last year to see if the mat was the same, and you've lost a ton of weight. You look phenomenal. I was like, holy shit, this is the same guy. An inspiration, honestly. Like, son of a bitch. It was a playoff game, too. It was the end of the season.
Oh, man.
Do you think anyone in the altercation, players, and I'll name names for people, there's a lot of screaming and yelling going on, right? Fred, the
Yep.
Heitzners, Ed,
Yep.
Mark,
Yeah.
Jeff, Ed, yourself. Do you think anybody, for any reason, deserves some sort of discipline, whether suspension
Nope.
or
No, I don't. I've seen a lot of that down in our fields. I've seen other things too, which, listen, we could sit on here for 2 hours and go through all the things that we've seen over the last 5 years that haven't been suspensions, right? But what good is that going to do? We're talking about this. No, I don't think anything needs to be. I think you want to give a warning. Listen, if Ronnie Collins says, Pat and Jeff, I want you guys on a conference call, and Mark and Eddie, or just me and Mark, because I'm going to come down on both of you, I'll take that. You want to come down on me and give me a warning? I'll take that. I'm never going to apologize for a guy showing emotion. I'm never going to apologize for my team playing with fire. Did they cross the line a little bit? Did both teams cross the line a bit? Probably. But that's okay. Listen, it's going to happen once in a while. It's a very competitive league.
anyone else? Thoughts, questions, comments?
Pat, I'll ask a very forward question.
Go ahead.
Just to play devil's advocate here, because I've heard a lot of talk about it as well.
Yep.
For those wondering, and this is what I'm hearing, for those wondering, how could the guy who makes all the mats miss the dimensions for one, and it's his own? What would
because it was a new mat. It was the only mat that he cut this year.
Okay, so that's the only new mat from this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That he cut this year that I know of him.
Right.
Because I wanted a blue and gold mat.
Right.
That's as far as I know. That is the only mat he cut, and in his mind, he didn't remember the dimensions. Okay. He called up the ASA website, 19 by 34.5, so he cut it. That's it.
Right.
So this answers the question. So Guy gave his mat to Alex. Apple, his mat went to Tommy. Payne's old mat went to Klaczynski so he can get the new mat that's gold and blue. This explains why he would give
It makes sense.
the old mat to, because that's another question people are asking. Why have Klaczynski pay $50 to take your old mat and then cut a new one for you? Why wouldn't he just get the new one? But if you're looking to make the colors, that explains that.
Yeah.
Did the polyps
and
get
Dom,
a new mat
everyone
too?
knows those are my colors, right? Like I always wore those colors, and that's it.
My only other question on just I guess the length of the mat would probably be you have 17 other captains in the league. If you didn't know the length of the mat, why didn't you just ask somebody who had a mat available for the
Fair
measurements
question.
instead of just Googling it.
It's a fair question, Ush, and I can't answer it because I wasn't making the mat, right?
No,
Nor can anyone else because they don't make the mats. That's a fair question. Like, why don't you just call Ben Kessler and ask him?
Right.
Why didn't you just call, whoever and ask? But he didn't.
Is it not noticeable? Like I didn't play against the mat when we played you guys. We used our mat. We were home. Is it like
Right.
not noticeable from the naked eye that yours is just smaller?
It's I don't know, Monty. I mean, it's an inch on both sides. You think it would be, right? But then when I saw it after the game, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck people are talking about. Like, it looks normal to me. But I'm at first base. Like, I don't see it. I just don't. I don't understand the argument.
It looked most noticeable when Danny was standing on it.
It was Dom.
Yeah, when he's like looking, that's the only time where I think you could definitively say before anything is measured that man looks small because
Okay.
he's standing with both feet on it and he's like arranging second base, and then it looks like he can't even get both of his feet on it. It's like that looks a little small.
Okay.
But I'm surprised that they even. I pitch, and honestly, it's easy. It's like when someone tells you where Waldo is, and then you find it right away.
Right. No, I mean, like I said, I've had 3 home games. I'm pretty sure you guys can check that. I think one was against Rosenstock, so Ronnie Collin. Like, wouldn't he have noticed it? Like,
yeah.
I don't notice it, Dom. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
I would never notice it, but I respect you saying like you noticed it when he was standing on it because you're a pitcher. But Hemp. Getting back to what you just said, like you've heard a lot of talk. I think it's just such a problem to me that so many people in this league get all this gossip and all this information. Like nothing is ever in house here.
Right. Well, I mean, everyone loves there's 234 people in the league. Half of them love drama. So anytime something happens, there's going to be a ton of talk.
Oh, hell yeah. I get it, dude. Listen, I get that. But sometimes it causes damage.
Right.
And I think with in this situation, everyone is just looking for the board to make an example of Ed. Either because he's on the board or not, whatever. And again, comes back to optics, right? So whatever decision they make, we have to live with. Suspension, board dismissal, board suspension, whatever it is.
Right.
They come down on me and Mark, we have to face the music too. But if you're really asking me for my honest opinion, I don't think any suspension should be given. Get the mat the fuck out of here. And he has to cut me a new one for Sunday. I'm the home team.
Right.
You're getting charged $50.
You're damn right I am. I'll make sure I have a full cash receipt for that. But Byko's going to be there, and I expect Byko to come out and measure the mat. I think it's going to be a thing. Marty, I saw you do it Wednesday night.
Yeah,
right?
Immediately I got to the field. First thing I did was measure the mat.
And I'm looking at it. I'm sitting in my chair. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, Marty's not even playing, but he's measuring. But this is going to be a thing now, right?
Right.
Until the next big thing happens in Marlboro softball.
Right.
Which, let's be honest, it probably could happen this Sunday.
Yeah, give it a week.
Right? Yeah, so
between the Hornets,
I get it. I get it. Something could be happening right now. We don't even know it. So,
can I ask you a question? A conspiracy theory that I've heard floated around?
Oh dear God!
I would love to know
help
your
me
thoughts.
here, Dom, help me, please.
Hold on 1 second, Pat. All right, let's go.
I heard a conspiracy that Ed actually has 2 mats, one that's 19 inches wide and one that's 21 inches wide. And when he's playing in a primetime game under the lights, like Wednesday against Rosenstock, he's going to use the proper mat. But like 9 a.m. at Muni against Goddard, he's going to use his illegal mat. Any thoughts on that one?
Yes, I have a. Yes, I do.
He does. Look at him.
I love Ed. Ed is like family to me. You guys are making him out to be way too smart, dude. Ed is not that smart. He's just not. Come on now. He couldn't even fucking measure. He couldn't remember the measurements he made 4 years ago for the match. No, stop. He's not that intelligent. No. I will say that whoever's coming up with that theory, come see me, please. Come see me. No. He has 1 mat in his truck. That I could vouch for.
Are you
going to bring the equipment to the game? I'm the one that carries it from the truck to the field.
Are you going to start putting the equipment in your truck now? People want to know.
It will probably be in my garage. Comes.
Smart guy. That's a smart Italian man.
Oh man, like this season hasn't been hard enough so far, but whatever.
Last question on the Ed thing, and then we can talk about your team a little bit and wrap it up. But do you think there's anything to the fact that everyone's kind of jumping down his throat? Because since I've been in the league, there's been about 4 or 5 different instances that Ed has been involved in that people have looked, that have people have seen like, hey, that should probably be a suspension. Or if this was somebody else, this would have led to a suspension. And now here we are again having another conversation about something crazy that Ed is involved in. Like, do you think that also is why this is being escalated?
I think it's being escalated, one, because it's Ed, period, right? I mean, people do love to go after him because he does go after people too. I get it. I think there was one incident with the goal fobs a couple of years ago where he did get suspended, right? So I think he got suspended from the board, actually. Yeah, I do, Marty. I think that's fair. But I'm gonna go with, even if Ed was a good citizen, all this time and never got it, it's still Ed, and they're gonna go after him. They're gonna go after him. And I think also, listen, I know how I am. I'm sure you guys are on here. If somebody attacked your character, that's all we really have in this life, right? Is your character. If someone attacked your character, you're gonna flip out.
Right.
And I think that had a lot to do with it. I really do. Now, people could say he acted like that because he's guilty. That's the other side of it also, right? But I'm just talking for myself. If someone attacked my character, I would flip out on them. So I'm going to go with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, can't argue that.
Yeah. And at some level, if you feel like your character's being attacked, stand up for yourself. Absolutely. Can't
Right.
blame someone for that.
Right.
All right. Anything else on Plategate, or do we just want to check in on Pat 5-5 here, coming up on what feels like halfway? Well, one more game till halfway. How you feeling about the boys? Where do we look for them to go from here?
I would say we're treading water. I would say there hasn't been a total buy-in yet. I think it's getting close. For my teams, there has to be a buy-in.
Right.
I need all Hemp. You're part of it. There has to be a full buy-in from everyone. I don't think we're there yet. Let's not get hysterical here. Like, I got 14 text messages when we got home Sunday. Great win, great win. We beat a Goddard team without Nick Turano.
Right.
So, but that's a game you have to win.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I'm not going to celebrate it. I thought when I drafted this team, it would be one of the smartest teams in the league. There's been some instances where we haven't done the right things at the right times, swinging 3-1, not hitting backside, stuff like that. But I think that's all coming. I think the most pleasant surprise, and the one I get the most satisfaction out of, is Anthony Foster. Hitting 500, playing a solid shortstop. I know there was a lot of questions about that pick, which I always love that stuff. And the guy's he's been really good. Really, really good. That if the season ended today, or if the nominations were due today, he would be my all-star. I think he deserves that.
Right.
So other than that, Marty, we're treading water. Until you put 2 or 3 together, you're a 500 team.
Yeah.
And if you look at the 5 losses, they all were very close. And there's 2 schools of thought. You're not good enough to win those games, or you're not playing to your ability. I can't answer that yet. They could answer that. I can't.
Right. Yeah. Plus 22 at 5-5 is kind of insane. Plus
Yeah,
22 run
but,
differential.
because when you do the right things, Hemp, with that offense, you should win games handily.
Right.
When you don't, Marty, the game we had against you was just a great game.
Right.
It was a war. It was just a great game. But when you're losing 1-run games and 2-run games, there's usually 4 or 5 things that you could think about that you should have done. If you just did the right thing, you probably win the game. And we let those situations, get by us. But other than that, 5-5, I'll take. If it was worse than that, I'd probably be going crazy right now.
Fair enough. And you don't want to be playing your best ball too soon. Figure it out at the right time. And I know you get the best
I,
out of them around
like,
then.
but I would take that now, Marty. I want to see what that looks like because I haven't seen it yet.
Right.
But I would take.
Fair
But I
enough.
think I think when I go around the league, I think there's a few teams like that.
Yep, there are.
Dom's team, I don't get. Like, I just don't get it. And I felt this way about Seth's team last year. I think they should be better than they are, right? And I think Dom's team should be better than they are.
Mhm.
Hemp, I knew your team would figure it out. This Tommy's, you guys would figure it out. Marty, you guys. And Ush is having a great year. So, but I do think there's a couple of teams that are treading like Todd's team, my team, like treading at that 500 level. Now you got to put 2 or 3 together to really say what you are. Are you a playing contender or are you not? Like, that needs to be answered soon here.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up that Wallman team because it kind of seems like they're in a lot of tight games as well.
Yep.
Similar, I guess, to you guys a little bit in certain aspects, but yeah, I mean, you both kind of have those complete teams and just aren't figuring it out either on one side of the ball or another, and it seems like it's very frustrating to be a part of, and
Yeah, it is. It is frustrating because the talent's there, right? Like when I look at my lineup 1 through 10, 11, 12, 13, it's a deep lineup. But if I told you my team batting average, you would probably throw up in your mouth. So, because it hasn't really happened yet. Happened a little on Sunday, so we'll see. Right? The win's only as good if you can get the next one. So we'll see.
Anything else, fellas? For Mr. Pings, anything you want to bring up, Pings? I know we've talked about getting you on for pretty much all season now. So.
No, I'm good, boys. I mean, I think this is enough to keep you busy for 3 hours.
Plenty.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure there'll be rumblings down at the field tomorrow night.
Of course.
But that's okay. Like I said, something else will happen within a week. Hopefully the board makes a decision one way or the other with Ed, and Ed could put it to bed. I'm sure me and Mark will have a conversation. We'll put that to bed also, and we all just move on. That's
Right.
Sounds good. Cool. Best of luck, Pings. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for
coming
having
on,
With
Pat.
that,
All right, let's move on to the next game here. And to do so, we bring in one of our favorite people in the league. It is conspiracy theorist extraordinaire Eric Becker, back in action on the pod. MVP candidate. Let's move on, though, to this last game. We got Pingaro beating Goddard 18-9 at Muni. I don't think the game really matters. Obviously, one of the bigger controversies this league has seen in, I think, this year, and it's been quite interesting. Anything anyone wants to say before we jump into the events about the game? Because there was quite a lot of events. We'll try to go in chronological order. Anyone have anything they want to mention before we jump right into the fun?
I think it's important to set the stage a little bit here.
Yes.
This is the 3rd or 4th inning, but prior to the game beginning, the Goddards do have their mat out, in which Ed does pick up and throw over the backstop or something crazy to use his mat.
Yes.
Because it's too thin. So
yes, let's talk about that, right? So that's the big firing point in this game. That was the first bullet shot, was the fact that Mark Goddard, his mat was beat up. I think he said it was ripped, a little bit old. It was a little bit too thick for him to transport easily to and from the car to the game.
Go to the gym.
Go to the gym. So he decided that he was going to try to find a thinner material, cut out his own mat while measuring it with the existing mat that the league gave him. And he's been using that thinner, lighter mat that is the exact size as the mat that the league provided. And he's been using that the whole time. And when Ed saw that, he freaked out. And like you said, threw the mat, put his own down, called it a fucking piece of shit and to get it out of here, and launched it into the dugout. And that was before first pitch.
Yes. Then they played 3 innings of conflict-free softball.
Well, not quite, because there was another controversy. But let's talk about this Goddard mat. Obviously, you can't be doing that. And we did bring Beck on, so Beck, chime in at any point. you can't be making your own mat and bringing it to the game. I think we can all agree to that, right?
You're a captain. Fucking make a phone call. Call the board of village people and be like, hey, I need a new mat. My shit's broke. You know? You're hurting yourself because that mat was thin, right? Most of these umpires can't see straight. They're not going to see hit the edge of the mat. You're killing yourself on that one.
Yeah.
Plus, that height makes the strike zone bigger, very, very marginally, but it does.
It does, right? Because a ball that might clip the back half of that mat has half a distance. I think Mark said it's about half the thinness.
Yeah.
So you're giving up a little bit, like you said, a little bit of the strike zone. So that started the game off with some fireworks. And then the second round of fireworks was when Jeff Goddard.
Incredible for anyone to have that. I mean, they've been playing the whole season so far, and no one said a peep about it. It's the same. No one has cared about the thickness.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then top of the first inning, we got Jeff Goddard having some tummy issues and having to run to the restroom. And while he was in the restroom, they didn't know if he was going to make it back in time. So Nacho started warming up on the mound just in case if he had to throw for the inning. Jeff Goddard gets back right before balls are down and tries to take the mound. Ed stops the game and tells Billy Martyr that he, being Nacho, now has to pitch to the first batter because he threw the warm-up pitches, which is a U-Trip rule. It's in the official U-Trip rule book, which the league sometimes adheres to. And
Bush League.
that ended up resulting in Nacho walking Ed after a full count. And then Ed, I believe, came around to score. What do we think of that one, fellas? Because it's very interesting.
What's the league's official byline? If it's not a specifically outlined rule by the league, the ruling reverts to the most current U-Trip league rules?
2022, Rule 22. League rules supersede USSSA rules. USSSA rules will take precedent when and as needed.
Oof.
We play ASA, don't we?
That's lawyer talk for we'll do whatever the fuck we want whenever we say we want to do it. And I'm the guy that says what and when, and I'm going to say what now and when I want.
Right.
Egregious. Absolutely egregious. Anyway.
I think while rules may be rules, and this is...
I can't believe that's how it's worded. I can't...
crazily... it's crazy. It is, I guess technically it's enforceable. Like you said,
sure.
Beck, Bush League.
Bush League.
No captain would enforce that rule.
So dumb.
I don't think people even know it exists except for like a handful of people.
I've only seen very, very stuck-up people at very, very like big tournaments that people care about and make us think about it.
I mean, tournament, fine. You want to make us think of a tournament or
Yeah.
fucking Sunday morning. Let the guy take his shit in peace, come out and throw the ball. What is the problem?
It's Sunday morning in the middle of June, and you've known each other for 10 plus years. Like, we are trying to pull a fast one. Jeff has to take a poo.
Ush, when you came to play in Mercer with us, before we got every inning, Woody would throw a knuckleball behind his back and try to hit the plate in between every time he went out to defense. And those people are way better than anyone that we play with for the most part. And they couldn't give a single shit about that. But by this rule, he would have to pitch to a batter.
Yeah. I mean, it's stupid. I mean, and also not even, I guess, I don't even think this is in defensive Ed, but like, why didn't Pat just overrule Ed and be like, Ed, shut the fuck up. Just let Jeff go take a shit and he can pitch when he comes back. Like, I think it's stupid to even call it out in the first place and make it known to attention, but like, it didn't have to get put through either. People could have stepped in and overruled and been like, hey, we're not going to do this. Just we'll wait the extra 2 minutes.
Right.
It is a very petty thing for someone to do that's asking people to not be petty towards him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So before the game, before an official pitch was thrown in the game, we've already had two like little moments. Big little moments, I think is a perfect way to put that, because those are going to lead up to the fireworks at that point. And the fireworks are when in the third inning, top of the third inning, Jeff Goddard decides that mat looks a little small, measures the mat, and uh, fireworks begin. Should we?
I still cannot figure out. I've watched this 1,000 times. I cannot even figure out what prompts him to do this. There's nothing on video that prompts him to do this.
So he said it looked small. And what he did was, and I'm pulling up a video here. What he did was he thought it looked small, went to his dugout, measured with his feet the size of his mat, and you'll see him in this video once I press play. He goes and he walks across the mat and he measures it with his feet, and he's like, whoa, it's different. It's 2 inches different. All right, let's start this video. Right here, he's going to measure it. He's talking to Mark about it right there.
Yep. Calling for the measure.
Lugo's chirping at heights.
Shocker.
Austin Silverberg acting like a normal shocked person. He said 18 inches should have been 20.
Here come the fireworks.
Launched.
Oh.
Here's the biggest problem. Look at the guy in a blue shirt.
Who's that? Is he a player?
What are we doing here?
I don't
That's
think so.
a non-playing board member who's not insured through the league running on the field.
Snap.
Safety
Looks
first.
like a white Somalian mixed with a little bit of Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz. Like, if he was like 4 seconds earlier, that mat's going to take him in half. You can't be running out there. That's a dangerous situation right there.
Especially with objects being flown.
He's a very frail man.
Mats flying everywhere.
Buddy Ebsen was the original Tin Man, but he was allergic to aluminum. So that's a fun fact.
But he's not. Listen, he's not a player. So by the law of the league, he's not insured through the league.
Did Ed slap the mat out of Jeff's hand and then throw it? Or
Great question.
Did he?
I heard there was 3 mat tosses in this game, but only 1 on video.
The other one's coming up. The first
Yeah.
one happened off video. This was the big first one.
well,
He touched it.
he kind of goes to do it though.
But yeah, he tried to.
Yeah.
Jeff already dropped it.
Listen, Goddard was the home team. If you don't like his mat, you protest the fucking game afterwards.
Stop being a jackass.
Said he's a board member. He's a board member.
Here's the other one, Beck.
Sees that it's smaller.
Throws
And
it out.
that's fucking.
Wait, Marty, can you go back there for a sec?
What's up?
Yeah, because he like compares the sizes of the mats right there. I had never seen that.
He confirms that I mean, what does he think that Jeff made a bigger mat for himself only?
At
And
this
that,
time, he probably is
yeah,
thinking that.
because it's thinner. Yeah.
And then just some more hoopla, and they break it up finally. And then they play. And they play with Ed's smaller mat.
Well, if you look at the end of that video, Ed is yelling at Lenny Sarcona, "Tell your guy to learn the fucking rules of the league," which is bold for someone that makes up the rules to the league that doesn't actually know the rules of the league to say. Tough. It's a tough look because
Very tough look.
he's doing and saying a lot of things that are very hypocritical and on video, on very obviously on videotape.
My first question immediately becomes, what are like, who it is this intentional? Like, that's where my mind went to first.
Right.
Like, how do we have a small mat in play, and why do we have the small mat?
Why is a small mat in your car to begin with?
I think for argument's sake, we kind of have to accept, like Pat had said,
Right. So we heard Pat say that
we can't adjudicate intent.
can adjudicate intention. And the reason that so this is a new mat this year, Pat Pingaro. What happened was Pat requested a new mat with certain colors, so he needed a new mat. And other captains who needed mats were provided existing mats. So Ed had to cut a new mat for Pat at his request. And that is this mat. So it is our understanding that this mat was not being used last year, and it is newly made.
So the same guy that made all the other mats made this mat.
Correct. The board member in charge of mats made this mat.
And made it smaller.
Correct.
See, this is where it becomes A or B to me, which is, does Mark in the video think that the right size mat is supposed to be 20 inches and he just measured 18 inches and he said it's 2 inches smaller? The mat's supposed to be 20 inches. If Ed's mat is 18 inches, then his argument that he Googled the right size mat for the seniors at 19 by 34 and a half is also not the truth. It can't be the truth.
Right. So Ed admitted that
But
he didn't know the rules. He didn't know the measurements at the time of having to make this new mat. So he Googled it and assumed what he Googled was accurate and went with it.
That's my problem. Why not just call one of the other 17 captains? Be like, hey, do me a favor. Measure your mat.
That's what I said to Pat when we had him on. I asked him that question as well. I mean, he obviously can't answer for Ed, but that would be the easiest answer.
The one thing we didn't say to Pat was the point you just made, Dom, and for whatever reason, I had never thought of that. That is a good point.
I mean, it's hard. Where's the mat now? If you can tell me, we'll talk about this longer, but if someone has that mat in their possession that's not Ed, and they measure it to be anything less than 19 by 34 and a half, it means that he's coming up with the backstory after he's already committed whatever act he's committed. And if that's the case, then yeah, maybe you suspend him, maybe whatever, but that person should not have a position of power in a league where we want to have a fair and equitable and a game with integrity. That's not fair for the 234 other people in the league that pay money, spend time, drive hours to the game, sink their life into this.
Right.
It's not fair. So if someone can measure that mat and it is 19 by 34 and a half, then I will accept this. I will have a different opinion on how I feel, and I'll give that take too. But that's where I'm at right now in this moment after watching that.
I heard that it was a practice. His practice mat was that one. That was the first initial. He kept
that's not
practice mat.
Well, Pat has come on the record now and said this is what the truth is out of Ed. Right? He said he Googled. This wasn't a practice mat. This was my gold and blue mat. He got the measurements wrong. He Googled it, and this is what it said. I accept all that to be true, and I will not say that there was any malice or intent unless that mat does not measure that right size. Will I believe Ed if he's the one measuring that mat now in his garage? No. So like, it's tough because if he did make a mistake, he made a mistake. Then my big issue becomes with the way that he handled himself on the field with other paying members of the league as a board member.
Let me ask you a question, Eric. Have you ever made a mistake before? Is the way that you react to like finding out you made a mistake to throw a temper tantrum, or
I mean,
how do you think that situation was handled on the field?
I'm pretty perfect in life, just the way it is.
What are you gonna do?
May have thrown a bat once a couple years ago. Might have been up into the trees. Could have hit the girl. There's rumors circulating, Mr. Fracken might have tried to have me suspended for throwing a bat into the trees for a game that he wasn't even at, where to not get thrown out of the game or anything. And apparently, every year they harp on throwing objects, specifically bats. Ronnie sends out his little gay fucking list of things not to do, blah, blah, blah. Everybody violates every single one of them every year. And that's it. They move on. And now, I don't know.
That's true. One of the emails said not to yell at umpires. I've seen that violated.
At least 30 times by the first inning.
Yeah.
There is a rule about specifically throwing equipment too. If we start to be sticklers about the rules,
I think there's a couple rules that we could talk about too.
There are.
Don't be a jerk off. There's the Fred Lugos rule in there. Somehow he's still a jerk off.
There you go. You want to hear the U trip, since we want to quote U trip rules regarding throwing a pitch to in warm-ups? U trip rule on profanity and unsportsmanlike conduct. Rule 13.2.a. Rule 13.2.e. No player, coach, or manager should use abusive, obscene, or vulgar language or make any objectable demonstrations of dissent by throwing equipment or other forceful actions. And I'm pretty sure in that video,
Well, that's unreasonable.
a couple players broke a couple of those rules.
yeah, I mean, it's a very slippery slope when you try to be the hall monitor and you are not unimpeachable because you look like a hypocrite.
I mean, you get away. You're on the board. You're gonna get off.
To me, this doesn't seem like you. You could ask if you made a mistake. Is this how a guilty person kind of acts or a remorseful person acts? To me, I could see either way. But what is for sure, it's the actions of somebody that knows that they have no consequences coming. Already before he even threw a mat or got angry, he already knows he is not going to be punished, and that's what I saw more than anything.
I
As a
mean, it's
man
not
that-
his first time.
Yeah,
He
And
did
everybody
make time
sees
and
it.
run off the field crying one day, a couple years back, middle of the game.
sent him home. I heard.
And I love Ed. I'm a big fan of Ed. He's a big fucking hairy gorilla, and I love him. But you did fucking hammer toss a goddamn mat across the field. Like I said, you're lucky you didn't kill Jacoby. Just be suspended. That's it.
So no suspensions are going to come, right? Is that what we feel?
That's fair to say.
Nobody's got to fucking sit on him in that Zoom call.
I think I would suspend 6 people from this game. Honestly,
Who are the 6?
Yeah.
the 6 are Mark, Jeff, Jake Heitzner, Fred, Pat, Ed, and I would suspend Ed 2 games and everyone else 1. I would suspend Ed for 1 for the way he acted and 1 for the way he acted. The same rule that suspends Mark and Jeff for having a mat that's not legal. He has the 1 game for that, and then he gets a 2nd game for
Awesome.
the way he acts on the field. That's how I would do it. And I think if they did that, people will be like, yeah, it was a mistake. He has some repercussions. We do feel like this is fair. We do feel like the board speaks on behalf of the people. We do feel like the commissioner has our best interests in mind. We do believe that this one person that has a lot of power cares more about the league than himself. He's willing to take that punishment. And we will not see any of those just little things. Those are easy little things. Easy things. It's not even asking for a lot.
Nobody
Yeah,
listens.
you're not calling for a full game, a full year suspension, just 1 or 2.
Right.
And removal of the board. Off the board.
I don't know if you should remove him off the board for this, but I do think there should be some sort of way where board members um, have some sort of limit. You know, how many years do we want people to rotate around? Do we want some more perspective? If we look at the board now, does that represent the majority of the thoughts and feelings of the league?
Well,
Not even
And if
close.
the answer is no, and we have no, and like the people have no say, you know, I don't, you know, I'm not asking, I'm not saying we need to replace everyone on the board right now and be very radical about it, but there needs to be a little bit more transparency, a little bit more say, and a little bit more accountability from the people holding all of our money and holding, like, it's not like they're embezzling or they're stealing or doing whatever, but they have all the control. They have all the permits. They have all the connections. They have too many things. Um, and they know it, and they kind of show it out on the field. That's what it looked like. I think that's more the frustration. I don't think anyone I think deep down, I don't think they really believe that Ed cheated in a woman's sport deliberately like that, or if there's any sort of
Becker
I
might.
think everyone is just. I don't think the majority of people think he actually cheated. I think what the majority of the people feel like is that he was out of line. He treated the people that pay for this league and are equally deserving of respect and to be heard are not being heard, and the words of one person mean more than the other 200 and change, and then that makes people say this is not fair, this is bullshit. You know what, he might be cheating because he can do whatever he wants.
Right.
It's not a far leap. So people are not very good at articulating how they feel all the time, but I don't think they feel like Ed's gaining this massive advantage and he's coming to cheat and Pat's in on it. I think they just feel like this one person is, gone to the well one too many times and he has not been in trouble for it. Meanwhile, he's out yelling at other people, he's starting commotions with other people. They talk about safety and family friendly and all these other things, but when their actions have to stand up to it, they don't, and they aren't penalized for it.
Mhm.
And I think people are saying, "This is bullshit. We're tired of seeing it. You know what? He might be cheating," and that kind of gets away from the real point, and it kind of almost makes the situation better for Ed and the rest. Because it's easy to say I'm not a cheater. Like, I haven't cheated. I'm not going to cheat. It's a woman's sport. What advantage do I get? And you know what? Rationally, that's true. I think it's the other stuff. I don't think the league feels respected, and I think the people in charge of the league think nobody really cares. They think it's fun drama, which it would be if all these other things weren't true.
Right.
That's my general piece.
I think that was very well said, Dom.
Yeah. Should we all start clapping?
Might have to. Round of applause.
Very good. Very nice.
Beck, it looked like you wanted to. He just walked away. You looked like you wanted to chime in there when he said Ed is maybe not cheating. What did you want to say about that, or anything in general?
I mean, listen. Could he be cheating? Do you think he did it intentionally? I don't know. I don't. It's for the guy who makes the mats to have a mat made that's too small. Something's a little fishy there.
So I think it's definitely strange, and he acted as if he just got caught cheating like that with the immediate anger and throwing of the mat, and that's not fucking wrong. Like, I feel like if he was truly surprised, and this goes back to being a conspiracy theorist, if somebody's truly surprised about something, their initial thought's not, hey, let me get fucking pissed off and throw this mat. It's, what do you mean it's short? All the mats are the same size. I've made them Like, what size is your mat? Can we measure these? Like, what am I missing here? Or but on the contrary, I think it's crazy to be like, get your illegal garbage piece of shit mat out of here so I could put down my illegal garbage piece of shit mat. Like that's crazy to intentionally throw someone else's mat for being illegal and piece of shit and putting down an equally illegal mat. Like that's
I mean,
bonkersville.
he knows the rules. He's not the home team. You can't put your mat down there anyway. It's not your mat to put down. You're not the home team.
You're saying by the rules, he should have just protested the game, finished
Exactly.
it, and then said the Goddards had a thin mat, and then he would have gotten the win anyway, probably.
Right.
Or whatever. Let me ask you, if Ben Kessler, if Ben's team is doing this, I guess because he's not the pitcher. Let's say Andy made the mats, and Andy just happened to
Everybody
make
loves Andy.
right. What if Greg Deloise did this? He's on the board.
Nobody likes Greg.
I think that highlights. I don't really think it's fun to play conspiracy theorists and stuff, and I think like a lot of weird things happen to get here, but I think it's a lot of abuse of power led us here, and that's the real gripe that I think the majority of the people have.
You mentioned Ben.
Sorry.
I feel like if Ben got caught with a 2-inch short mat, they would say that he like took scissors and cut it himself to make it shorter.
Right.
Ben's
They
not
would
really
see like I
fair.
feel like the board would come up with a conspiracy theory themselves and try to throw Ben under the bus because Ben is always on their naughty list.
Right.
Yeah, but Ben's not a pitcher either, so it's like then it's I don't know. I get what you're saying, and I do agree. He would be anyone else if this had been done by anyone else. This would be. I think Pat would still have Ed's back. His guys would still have his back. All this stuff, but I think some sort of punishment is kind of it's choosing the minority over the majority in a very, very obvious way.
Did Pat get a discount for the shorter mat? That's no question. He didn't pay a full.
We didn't ask, I'm guessing he paid for it.
I
We
think
didn't
somebody
ask him if
mentioned
he
that on
paid.
Facebook.
And then where I get into the stuff with Heitzner, I do think, I think Mike got in trouble for no reason. Like he's getting backlash for no reason. But I do think, all things being equal, Jake is standing up for his dad. And while he's not the instigator and he's not the one that pushes it forward, he does offer himself up to have a little bit. But as an adult, you can only take so much disrespect to your face, especially when you're and Mike is in the way of his son and pushing him away and moving him away. But I do think it's just a good lesson to teach. Jake should just walk away from that. But.
When are they going to say enough is enough with fucking Fred in his mouth?
I was just about to ask that. Like it's always. It's every year.
Every game.
Multiple times a year.
Every game.
I will say I actually had no problem with what Jake Heitzner did. I honestly gained a little bit of respect.
Absolutely.
I missed that part.
He was in the right. But if you're going to say you can't fight and you can't be violent, and if someone says, we can go right now, and they're saying, I'm right here, let's go, then you have, even if you're in self-defense, just like when you're in school, someone hits you and you hit them back, you're both getting suspended. I don't think he did anything wrong, and I don't think he deserves it, but I think if you do one, you have to do the other.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
I think it's crazy that nobody was ejected from the game.
No.
That would have been the easiest route to suspensions occurring, is them getting tossed because it's an auto suspension and maybe they take it a little bit more serious. I thought that there were multiple people that should have been tossed, like you said.
It's the umpire.
I do think better umpires also mitigate this damage and threat.
Yep.
This is what I've been. It's not just about the calls and this and that. It's this. And while it's good, I love pings and I love the energy. There isn't a level of energy, even when Like even when we saw on Sunday, like Ronnie's like, I heard them say this game was over in the second inning, and he's yelling, and Nick's like, no, I didn't, but it's fun and it's intense, and it's not you're a fucking jerk off or you're an asshole or get the fuck out of here. Nobody fucking likes you. No one wants to play with you.
Right.
Like it's Will Perez. I've never heard or seen Will Perez say more than 7 words at a time. He
Now
was
you have.
ready to go to war at the end of that game. And it's like, these are non problem people that are now propping up as problems because they're coming across someone else. And because there is no suspension and there is protection, it just makes
Enables it.
Yeah, exactly.
I did hear a rumor from a little birdie, pretty reliable source, that Fred Lugos will be drafted in the second round to play catcher for 3 innings next year on Glenn Marone's team.
That's Glenn's way to try to push him out of the league.
What a beast.
That would work.
I mean, if you want to play dirty, I guess this is how you got to do it. Is Glenn Marone the Scarface of the league now?
He's a grumpy old man.
I could see Glenn. Doing that too.
Is he grumpy? He doesn't seem
No,
like
he's
grumpy old
Glenn's
man. I was going to say the complete opposite.
Complete opposite.
Bush, you've been very quiet over there on this. Any thoughts that we haven't been touched so far?
No, I think, you guys have really kind of just touched on it all. I think it'll all come to light at some point, whether somebody decides to, make it that way, or if we're all just going to let it pass. I think it's just going to get,
Sweep it
swept
under the rug.
Yep.
They'll bring up the Phil Walkgate situation from before the season, just like they do, and just change the channel off of Ed onto somebody else.
Yeah.
I think
it's a bad look that way if they do that personally, but
Beck, do you have any?
my one opinion against, I guess, the 7 people who were in charge of running the league. So
7 dictators. I mean, listen, I am, in my humble opinion, now that I've been self-appointed the Marlboro Softball Players Association fucking head, and I got
would like to be in
a situation. The Goddards aren't going to clear here because if you had a mat and you made your own mat, why would you tell somebody, hey, I'm making a new mat?
Right.
Like, it's all started because they didn't have the right mat to begin with. Then it gets neither did that. So the Goddards aren't in the clear. And Mark was running his mouth a little bit, kind of inciting the. And then Greg, fucking Ed comes out like the gorilla he is, fucking toss the mat, and then Jacoby, who no one's talking about, I don't just mind boggled. I don't. What are you doing? You're 104 pounds soaking wet. Why you're not a player? Why are you running on the field? It's not your kid. You shouldn't be out there. You shouldn't be there.
Do you think, as an unbiased board member, should have tried to? That's not unbiased, not a part of the game. Do you think he should have tried to help take control of the situation a little bit? That was clearly getting out of hand, while the umpire was doing nothing. Like, is that a part of his responsibilities as an unbiased, uninvested board member watching this game?
If he would have rolled his ankle, he's not insured under the league. He's not he's not on the insurance of the league. So what happens? Like I said, what if Ed throws that mat and it takes out his fucking head? Now he's going to get a new nose and everything else fixed. Who's paying for that? League? He shouldn't be on the field at all. Doc's 6'9" and whatever the fuck he is. Let Doc handle Ed. There's no reason for a white Somalian to come running on the field. He's not going to do anything. What is he going to pick up the ball? He could pick up the ball and bring it back to the mound. That's all he's got. He can't even lift up the mat to bring it back to home plate when I tossed it. It's too heavy for him. But hey,
Yeah, I mean, it's not great.
um, the Fred thing's a whole nother situation
Right.
in itself. I mean, there's what, maybe 90, I would say 92% of the league is just tired of his shit.
Yeah.
Rough estimate.
I mean, what captains would even take him to deal with him?
Glenn Marone in the second.
Pat,
That's it. Todd.
Todd.
Todd lost all his hair. He had a couple of hairs left. They're gone now.
Conti.
Conti.
That's it. You got 3 spots. Even I have more spots than him.
Right. I can
Oh,
see
man,
Conti.
Yeah, and then at what point does that become like not enough captains are willing to take him? Where a good player is now going to get drafted in like the
Stock would
8th
take
round.
him.
Right.
Well, actually, I don't know if Stock would take him now.
If Glenn took him in the second round, the draft room would erupt.
It's fucking great.
I'd imagine Fred would toss in a quit comment shortly after that pick is made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But according to the league, they don't care.
There's a meeting
Like they
tonight.
said that to Sags. You want to go? We don't care.
Yeah.
You don't like it? Go. It's a
Do you
slippery
think-
slope when your own logic starts to get used against you. It's bad. It's not good. I don't like it.
Do you think this is the type of situation that could lead people to walking away from the league if it's not handled properly? Do you think this is this crazy of a situation that could actually affect who is in the league and why?
Would you like me to answer that?
Go for it, Beck, if you want.
I feel that this could drastically change, and there could be a new league that just pops up somewhere. There's how many towns with multiple fields? It's not hard to start a softball league. You just got to get the players.
Right.
And if 98% of the league is tired of fucking village people, it's not hard. You just call in a league and sign up, and hey, guys, fucking telephone, bro. This shit goes fast. You make a couple calls, next thing you know, you get 300 people wanting to play.
Right.
So
I don't want to answer that question, but my biggest fear is if it is, or if this is just, if we look at, like, let's say we're sitting together in December, right? We're having a little Christmas Friendsgiving, all gathered around the campfire.
That
Is
would be
this the
nice.
thing that we're talking about starting? Like, is this? Are things going to get? Do things get worse from here? Do other things happen because of this? Does something else controversial happen in the league that you know? I could tell you that, my God, I've I I thought this was a fun conversation. This was a fun debate. There were a lot of people all worked up, and this stuff just writes itself. But there's 3 dozen worth of people that are just upset, and those are the people that I have their phone numbers and have mine and are willing to even say anything.
People you would never expect.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
yeah. People you didn't know like watched other games.
yeah, or really, and it's if you took a handful of people and left the league, they would continue to play. They would pretend and act like they didn't care and it was fine. And most of the friends would stay, and it would be really messy. But I would really hate to see something like that. I would love for everyone to see this for what it is, and I would love for Ed to be at the end of the season someone that loves the league enough to maybe save it from himself, because a lot of people are unhappy, and so for me, it's honestly not gonna change my life that much. I love the league. I think it's great. The main problem with this league is I believe there are too many people that have a lot of influence that all they have is this league, and it's evident in the way that they treat and act around other people, and that's not fun. But like, I would hate to see Like, it's so stupid. All they have to do is just make a suspension, something better than a 3 sentence apology on Facebook while you're simultaneously still argumentative with the people you're in the conflict with.
Right.
Here's
And
my
it's
question. So there's a Zoom call or a board meeting going on tonight to discuss suspension, maybe a raise. You never know what they're going to give him. Is he on this call? Is he voting against the suspension as one of the 5 board members or 6 or whatever it
The
is?
2 board members there shouldn't be a part of the Zoom call.
The 2 that were involved shouldn't be involved at all. They should be out.
Right.
Right. Ed and Jacoby should have no say in this.
Right.
It should
You would
be
think.
4. With
I
that
don't
being
think we'll ever
said,
know.
I told Martin you were on. Don wasn't around in March when I talked to you. We had a good time. The fucking board is the problem. 100% the problem. And nobody likes the board.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, nobody likes the board because it's the same 4 or 5 people that they're tired of it. Most of the league is just tired of the nonsense, and it needs a change. It needs a cycle. It needs a 2-year. Hey, 2 years and you're fucking out. Like we don't
I mean, the board does do so much.
like Jomo. Suck it. Take a hike.
They don't get enough credit and they get a lot of blame, but I will say 2 things could be true at the same time. You could say that they do a great job and they provide us with a lot of avenues to have a good time. They take care of the permits, the umpires, the schedule, everything. All of those things are necessary and important and valuable to all of us. We appreciate them for it. But when they turn around and do something like this, and the way they're going to handle this is going to be suboptimal, to be nice about it. And all the nice things and all the great things that they do, it's such an easy fix. And you can be stubborn and say, well, we're not going to let people dictate how we do things or what we're supposed to do. It's like, we're not all coming on here saying we hate this guy, we don't like him, the league needs to suspend him, because that's not really, people are not upset for no reason. And that's the gaslighting that's coming here, is that, oh, people are upset for no reason, it's going to blow over, it doesn't matter, it's okay, it's not that big of a deal, it's great drama, all the other shit that everyone kind of says. And I honestly, there's not a lot of representation for the average of the league. Yeah, we get to vote on who's going to win the Gold Glove or the shortstop of the
No,
year.
you don't.
You think you do?
Don't. There's a
Yeah,
group of 5 little whatever picking it. You don't pick anything. The players don't vote for anything. The players should vote for all the awards.
Well, they said they did it last year. They put out the poll.
It's weighted, it's weighted, and that's fine.
5%
That's a good
players,
pacification.
out of 235 guys, you get 2% of the vote, and the other 6 guys on the board have 95% of the vote. Or
If you sent the message out, a poll out to everyone, do you feel like everyone in this league is equal or treated fairly? I don't believe less than 10%, more than 10% of those people of the league would say yes. And we probably could all
As long
guess
as the
what
vote was
10%.
anonymous.
As long as the vote was anonymous, people would be honest about if they feel accurately represented, and it's tough because that's the argument the board is going to make. We do so much. You guys have no clue how much we do for you guys. We never get any credit. We get shit all over, and that's true. They really do. I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm also saying, I wish they would help themselves out a little bit. Does Ed's life change so much if you suspend these guys? If you suspend these 6 players 1 game, do we have this conversation like this? Do we all feel this? Like, do we all feel the way we feel? Some of us, yeah, but I don't think a majority of the people would feel this way.
I think a lot of the guys would be better, would be more comfortable if actual repercussions were handed down.
Well, let me say this, right? The MVP league, and I'm not trying to compare the situations or compare the leagues, but the MVP league had their big kerfuffle the other day where the pitcher and the hitter both went at one another, and maybe a punch or 2 was thrown. There was a big pushback. They suspended 3 or 4 of the
Three.
people
Three
was it?
guys.
The main guy that threw punches got 6
Seven.
games. The main guy that said, "Come at me, bro, like I'm fucking here, let's go." He got 4 games. The first person that came and stepped and tried to break it up and got physical, he got 3 games.
It was
Like
7, 5, and 3.
7, 5, and 3. Sure.
Why don't we let the
Those types of suspensions send a fucking message. We're not here for that bullshit. I don't care who you are. I don't care what team you're on. We're not fucking around.
Right.
That's what a 7-game suspension does. And I'm not saying give Ed 7 games.
why
But
don't we let,
this is how you set a precedent of what is acceptable and what's not acceptable.
why don't we let the board of the modified league handle out this decision?
Not a horrible idea. I mean, it is on video,
It's by it's whatever the fuck. They're not
right? And then they're at least
they're complete third party.
The problem for me is my frame of reference. The 2 suspensions I've seen where Ben sitting on a swing set after the umpire told him he could and getting suspended for that. I mean, he did just get tossed from the game. And then Zach Schmidt getting suspended for a game after saying 2 words to Fogarty.
Because those are ejections.
They were ejections, but the Zach Smith thing, I mean, I don't know what words he said, but getting ejected and suspended a game for that that was the quickest toss I've ever seen in my life.
You can't take anything Fogarty ejects seriously because
that's my point. Yeah,
that's out of
I've seen chest bumps. I've seen fans yelling at players and players yelling back. Vulgar language being used in front of friends and family who we say this league's about, and things have never happened. I look at the Lugos Papa Drzezinski scenario from, what was that, 2 years ago, maybe last year, where while the entire Drzezinski crew is there, Papa D playing is yelling at Fred on the sidelines, and it got pretty heated. Like, those types of situations are things that you could maybe handle with a suspension at the time for a couple different people, and then we're learning that some things are actually not.
Marty,
acceptable.
here's another thing. Maybe that's why this stuff keeps happening. Nobody's getting,
because there's nothing wrong with it.
Nobody's getting disciplined. So,
right.
I mean,
What do we only suspend people when they get ejected from games? That's it.
That's it, and that is.
So Fogarty's going to cause a lot of suspensions.
Because, I mean, if we're going to hold people to that standard and they don't want people to throw bats, I'm pretty sure I've seen even some people this year. I don't even know off the top of my head. Like, I've seen some people throw some bats pretty hard.
One day went flying in our game.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, I don't remember who it was.
I honestly, I don't even remember that one. But, like, I've seen some people, like, whip it at the backstop.
No. It was the other team, not our team.
Oh. Well,
I don't think it's unreasonable to see the full scope and escalation of this game, and for the umpire to not eject a single person and think you have a good umpiring staff. You make us pay $300+ for this league, and we don't have competent umpires. Forget the fact that they can't see, or they're combative or whatever. They're trying hard. They're doing their best. They're out there working. And if you're going to say, we want the drama, we like when people are jawing at each other, then you have to invest in better umpires that will keep control of the game. You can't say run amok and then have, Mr. Magoo running the factory. You need one or the other.
Forget the fact that they can't see. That's fucking hilarious.
Fred, I have a tough time with. I don't think he crosses the line until at the end of the game, when, I mean, he doesn't make things great for the situation, but I don't think he gets that suspension until the game is over and he's welcoming a fight with a 20-year-old kid, all because his father said, "Hey, don't curse me out in front of my child." Like, that is a simple request everywhere in life you can make,
Eventually, someone's going to punch him in the mouth.
and that's
Especially if he
It was
asks for
almost
it.
Jake Heitz.
that's
That
whatever.
happened.
I'm just saying that's the line that's absolutely crossed, and now you suspend that guy. And yeah, maybe he's going to call someone a jerk off and an asshole on the field, and it's going to go back and forth. But he also knows, what am I going to get suspended 3 games for my second infraction for offering to fight someone else again?
Mhm.
And so, like, there is whatever's going to come, and something is going. You could see the things that are brewing. There are people that are very unhappy. They keep it to themselves. But look at this: like a powder keg went off. There were 5 or 6 people in that game of 25 that were ready to fight. 20% of this game is ready to fight. And this is going to carry over week after week, friends, people that don't like who. And now this doesn't make whatever comes and whatever shitty thing that's about to happen is only going to be because there are no consequences for the shitty things that came.
Now, is somebody going to get suspended if that day comes and someone does hypothetically punch Fred in the face? Should they be suspended,
They're
or
going to probably be taken.
or
They're
is it
probably
like,
that's the
listen,
person that's going to be made an example of,
Right.
and that's going to cause a real big problem. That's going to cause a big problem.
like that guy shouldn't be suspended because this is Fred for the last 4 years.
The 12th person finally called Fred's bluff.
Right. And then Fred will be the victim, and the other person will get thrown out of the league.
Yeah, and I think that's bullshit.
And, there are people in this league that will fight you. It's very clear that there are people willing to fight. And we are men. We have high
You're right.
testosterone. We're playing a competitive sport, and there's animosity sometimes. And there's no adults around. None.
Do you think it's going to become standard procedure for people to measure mats before the game?
Oh, bro, I'm breaking out 3 tape measures on Sunday.
I think whoever plays Pat's team, they should be aware before every game that their mat will get measured.
And then I want to measure the
Even
measure.
measure the rule,
Yeah.
tape measure. Like,
Those are fake inches.
imagine Hemp, if you play them and you're the home team and still stop the game right after batting practice to measure your own mat against them, that would be
If
hysterical.
I'm ever in a 3-2
But, like,
count trying to draw a walk and somebody nicks the edge of the plate, you better believe I'm getting the tape measure.
right out of your back pocket, dude.
Nick Villani could have used the tape measure on Sunday.
My God.
But
I don't know, man. I don't think.
do we start
again,
adding? Do we start adding in the application? If you have to know knowledge of reading a tape measure in order to be in the league.
I don't know. I don't think. I think Plategate is fun, and I just don't think that's. I don't think people are going to be measuring the maths because I think they're going to be watching Ed and thinking all the things he says. And like, if Ed's not under a microscope already, he's going to be now even more.
I will measure my mat every inning when I play for Carol's team. I will walk out to the mound with a tape measure on my belt.
You're a different kind of person. Yeah. And what happens if Fred says something to you?
I got a tape measure. I can throw it.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's not going to be this thing. It's going to be whatever is going to come next.
Suspend them.
What would be your suspensions? What would you dish out, Beck? Who and how many?
I'd give him 1 for the mat toss. I'd probably go a little easier and just give at least 1. You gotta give him at least 1.
So do you think board?
No, if you're the commissioner, who in this game do you suspend them for how long?
I'd probably give Mark Goddard, because he's the captain, a game for using the wrong mat, not sanctioned mat. I'd probably give Ed 1, maybe 2. I give him 2. I use 1 for a short mat and 1 for tossing the mat.
How are you giving Ed? Hold on. You can't suspend player Ed for his captain putting down the wrong sized mat, because That's the captain's responsibility.
True.
The mat is the captain's responsibility. Board member Ed left Coach Pat out to dry.
That's just true. So Goddard gets one. Ed gets one for tossing the mat. Pat gets one for letting Ed put a fucking short mat down to begin with. And Fred gets 6 for being a jerk off.
And board member Ed deserves some sort of board repercussion, suspension, or something for allowing
It's not your first
himself to use an illegal mat, to
You
put an illegal mat
on the
into play.
board and you use an illegal mat, you shouldn't be on the board.
And not only did he, like you said, he thought that he looked up the rules, but then didn't get it approved himself because none of the board members looked at it so that they could be like, hey, this is the wrong size.
Right.
I just don't know how you don't. If you had all the mats made, all of them. So I remember having a conversation when he had them all made. So if you just don't remember, like I said, you don't remember the size you had made 2 years ago. Or how many years we use this mat? 2, 3 now? Fucking ask somebody. You don't have another one made. I'm like, yeah, it's this number. I don't buy the Google fucking senior mat thing bullshit because I remember them saying we're going to add 1 inch to either side and 2 inches in the back, and I'm like, that's a fucking huge mat to begin with. So I remember that being a discussion in the beginning, but like, just there's 18 or 20 mats floating around. Just call somebody, like, hey, take a tape measure out and measure a mat. They're all over the place. Don't just make one, and it just happens to be small. Now, Is it worse if his mat was bigger? What if it was 22 inches?
I don't think this. I think that it benefits Ed,
Absolutely.
who's probably one of the better pitchers, to use the smaller mat.
Absolutely.
Compared to, especially against someone, Jeff, who's definitely not as good a pitcher as him.
I mean, can you imagine Pez trying to throw a small mat? That motherfucker could hit the side of a barn.
Right.
And knock down, drop a strike on a little tiny mat.
Yeah, I wouldn't even
forget it.
I wouldn't even bring the bat.
There'd be angry miniature Pez gingers running around fucking pissed off and shit. Having meltdowns everywhere.
Imagine Pez was part of this game. Kind of a shame that he wasn't.
What happened? I blacked out.
Dude, Pez would have actually fought for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I might pay to see that.
Yeah.
Might pay to see that.
Marlboro softball, rough and rowdy, is needed.
Can be arranged.
How do you feel like the commissioner handled this, Beck?
Who?
You tell if that's a joke or you didn't hear me.
No, I heard you.
Yeah.
He's non-existent. Fucking love Ronnie, but fucking Christ. Do your job.
If you were commissioner, Eric, what day of the week and what time of day would you have attempted to first make contact with the wronged parties?
Suspensions will be handed out 8 a.m. Monday morning. It's like Black Monday in football. Done.
Yeah, to be fair, when you look at Doug's phone, he's got 700 missed text messages.
How many fucking
people
boards
talk to each other 1,000 times a day? They don't have to wait until Tuesday night at 8 p.m. They just want everything. I get it. They want everything to cool down. They want people to forget.
It's on video. It's on
People
video.
don't forget.
You don't need
But
to
they got 4,000 views in 24 hours. Like, there's 300 people in the league. So do your fucking math, you know?
This is the easiest one to fucking do. It's literally on video right in front of you.
Right.
Right. And there's no like two sides to the story. There's like other sides, but there's no
spin
other
zones,
side.
but that's it. There's only one side.
Right.
Because it's on it's on video.
Suspension, jerk off, suspension. It's really simple. What are we doing here?
All right. Anything else? I feel like we beat this drum. Anything else we want to talk about with Plategate?
What the fuck is Jacoby doing running on a field? Jesus Christ.
You're the best.
Wait, he's not a part of the team?
He's the third base coach.
Right.
Silent third base coach. Assistant coach, bench coach. Also board member. Also not insured man running on the field.
Bush Hemp, anything?
Got nothing. Beat it to a pulp.
Dom?
I spoke for the people. I spoke for the people in my USA shirt. So
Right?
Should have brought mine.
America. All right. I think that wraps it up. Beck, thanks for coming on and playing Conspiracy Beast again.
I try to be nice. Fuck them all.
All right, let's move on to the next game here. Over at East Francis, the only 10:30 game to be played. Rosenstock mollywopped Byko by a score of 23-7. I don't know how this game was played. I was playing 10:30 at Swim Club. There was a lot of lightning, decent amount of rain. We could have played through the rain to start the game, but there's a lightning detector at Swim Club, and there's a lightning detector at Union Hill. Both of those were going off. And once those goes off, and you wait, I think it's 20 minutes or 10 minutes.
20 minutes.
More lightning came, and more lightning came. I left Swim Club, drove to East Francis, still lightning in the sky.
Yeah.
And this game was playing. I do not understand how that's humanly possible for that game to have been played.
So, Marty, I was at this game, watched the whole thing unfold. So they start the game, lightning strikes. Very obvious, everyone could see it. They take a 10-minute break. Right when the 10-minute break, they're taking the field. 10-minute break's over. More lightning. Another 10-minute break. Now they take the field again. Maybe one or two pitchers are thrown. More lightning strikes. They go, I don't give a shit. We're gonna play. The umpire literally asked both dugouts. I'll leave it up to you guys. They wanted to play. By the way, Rosenstock, Lightning team. Very good in the Lightning.
clearly,
Clearly.
Thunderbolts in there.
Probably the only two teams to ever play in Lightning.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Fact, scored
Small-
more runs
small
than every other
sample size.
softball team ever in Lightning.
Yeah.
It's one of those
I will
ESPN
say,
facts
I
that they
do
pull out.
feel for Pez. He has now been defeated by wind, and he's been defeated by rain. So the guy can't catch a break, honestly.
So-
He's
so
5-3 if not for those things.
So
Can you
Pez
give us
is
a-
definitely not Avatar: The Last Airbender, is what you're saying. He's getting defeated by all the elements.
Can you explain what is wrong with Pez's spin rate that kills him in the Lightning?
His attitude, mostly.
The attitude effect.
Yeah, the attitude effect.
I mean, that storm just blew right through, though.
You know what? I was trying to maintain a positive outlook for the players involved. I would have had a blast in that rain.
So much fun.
I
Not
don't
the lightning,
Yeah.
but the rain.
Admittedly,
The Lightning, no, but I love a good rain game. I love a good slap.
I love.
Yeah. I'll play a different sport in the rain, not softball though.
Why
I
not?
mean, that rain was a little crazy. I love a good, steady rain. Those were some heavy drops.
I
I
tried
don't
to
know if
tell
it was
Pez.
just because we were huddled like caged animals underneath the small tree line, but
Great turnout for that game.
Right?
Lingering wise,
It was the
people
only
chilling through the lightning storm.
And Mark and Jeff came over heated, and I did not. What if I knew now what I knew then? I would have probably asked them a lot more questions because I did
Right.
not. They did not do a good job selling what happened. But yeah, I would have had a blast in this rain. Pez was unhappy. Everyone on Byko's team appeared unhappy except for Byko.
Well, so that was going to be like my biggest takeaway. Before I get to that, last thing on the rain, it was all cool until Jeff Mendelson almost killed people throwing the bat on a swing.
Yeah, bad one
Yeah.
fine.
That's
I mean,
when
after
it
hitting
got
a
out of control.
nuke, though, so
Do you think
he was just ready to go. He was
do you
ready
think
for
the
number two.
game gets played if the commissioner isn't on the field?
No.
No.
Does that
Do you
not
think
make
this game gets finished if they're not winning and it has to become an official game? Because by the time that it was pretty much the game was over, then what? It cleared up for the
the rain
last
stopped?
three
Yeah,
innings.
3 innings.
Oh, it's beautiful for the last 3 innings. And the field looked gorgeous.
Well, it's East Francis.
I mean, that's if I'm Team Byko, and I know Byko does not want to let his team unravel because they're starting to come that way. And you're looking at the other team. They're very good. They don't have their starting shortstop. Abramson was in the hospital this week with a broken finger. He's got to play shortstop. And you're the commissioner of the league. You got to play this game.
Right.
But I don't think again, let me state for the record very clearly, I do not think Ronnie made them play this game because of all those factors. My extreme point is if you look at everything that happened this week, what the problem we're talking about is it appears that the people in power abuse their power unjustly because they do abuse their power and they get away with it freely without consequence. So now it's easy for everyone to say, well, the commissioner wasn't playing in this game, and Byko had their starting shortstop, who's one of the best players on their team. Does this game get canceled like the other 4 games at this time slot within a 2-mile radius of this field? And that's the bad look. I can't be saying something controversial. This cannot be
A coincidence.
This can't come to a shock to the people in charge either. They have to know that all 200 plus people in this league are smart enough to see this. This is very out in the open.
Yep.
But I would have had a ball playing in this game. I would have been so glad. Even if I lost this game, I'd have been so glad we got to play it.
Team Byko was not having fun. I mean, Pez was yelling at us. Everyone on the sideline was agreeing with Pez. And every time he came back into the dugout after an inning, he got louder and more angry and continued yelling at the people agreeing with him.
Right.
Like every inning. We had Evan Amerson. I saw him kick his chair over at one point. John McGuire's yelling at himself. Matt Hill's smiling, fist bumping people.
Big fucking head. Nothing.
There were so many people. There were so many people on Team Byko that was so miserable and so down that I felt sad being on their sideline. That was not a good day.
Meanwhile, Phil comes over to us. He's like, I love this umpire. He's the best fucking up. And I was like, hey, just like you fucking win by 20 in a lightning storm. Of course you love it.
Oh, man.
Team Byko, though, is kind of
unraveling.
I was going to consider using that word because I'm looking at it. They've lost 3 of their last 4. 6 runs, 11 runs, 8 runs, 7 runs. And the last 2, they've given up 16 and 23. It's not looking great for them right now.
I used unraveling.
His mind, not a great look either.
I used unraveling because of just like we've been saying, just the demeanor of some of the players. Like even in that Sunday night game or the Wednesday night game against Conti, the second game, just seemed like there's just a lot of internal chirping going on the field. Like they were getting very testy with each other, and you hate to see that internally, and that could make a team just fall further and further down at that point.
Yep.
Dom, I'm sorry to put you on the spot here, but you've been the Byko guy this year on the pod. Minus 23 run differential, sitting here at 4-5. They've been like your powerhouse team too. You've had them as like one of the best teams in the league. I'm just checking in to see if there's been an update on that opinion. Is it still the same? Like, what's going to happen these next 4 or 5 games? Let's hear something here.
I would say that Pez texted me this morning, said he's mad at me.
Okay.
And it's not that I don't know why he's mad. I just don't know which reason he's mad for.
Right.
But I will say that I'm the one that should be mad because I have put so much faith in the fact that he's going to be at least average, because that's all this team is missing is really an average pitcher and defender in the middle. Then again, they were missing Baldino as a rainstorm. That game at Morel, we're all playing in these elements. We're all playing, but Byko's team against this Rosenstock team without Baldino, they could not,
They were overmatched.
I even said to you, Hemp, this is the type of game, if I were Team Byko, I would love this sloppy game to try to catch them all sleeping a little bit.
Right, rain is an equalizer.
But the attitude was just, you're right. Listen, some people struggle. Like two things could be true at the same time. You should not be playing this game, but you are in a world where you don't get to decide that, and you are playing this game. So you better go
Figure it
act
out.
like you're having fucking fun out there. So the
Right.
guys around you will have fun with you and actually feel like they're mentally in this game.
Right.
And you know, I came late, so I don't know when the game was in reach or out of reach, and all the stuff with Mark and Jeff were going on, and you know, we were trying to stay dry. I was, you know, in a blender from my game, so I didn't really pay attention to what was going on, like inning by inning and score wise. But I can only tell you what I saw on the sidelines, and it was Sags with his dad having a great time, Rosenstock yelling. These guys, Harper standing in the rain behind the batter's box, like behind the backstop when the 10, 11, 12, 13 are up, rooting them on, getting ready to go. In the same rain, in the same shit, just a completely different attitude. And Byko, you know, it is. I think his team is good. I think they can hit, and I think they can win if they can play better defense. And I do think he got slotted at an unfair place, and he had a very, very high hill to climb. And I really, no pun intended there, but I really thought that he's got the team that can do it. And I think he just needs a little bit more.
Right.
He needs a little bit more from a couple guys. And I still think this team is dangerous. I still think they're in the best division. And I still think they held their own against some really good teams. And I think that if they can come together instead of fall apart, they'll be okay.
Another great rant.
Anything else, or shall we jump into the previews?
I'm
You
ready.
guys can't let me talk this much. This is the reason.
Give me 2 seconds. I got to take a piss. All right, let's move on here to the preview for this big weekend. There's 15 games, a lot of double headers, a lot of softball to be watched. Should be a fun day. Union Hill left back in action. Instead of going game by game, let's talk some segments, boys. I think we had a task to put them into different types of buckets. So, different types of buckets that games could go into. Teams that are on the hot seat are cool thrown. Teams that you could put the done chain on if there's a revenge or a rivalry game. Who's got the most to gain or to lose? Who's got some must wins or can't lose coming up? Who do you want to start with? Dom, I know you were the first to finish their prep. Let's start with you. What do you want to start talking about?
I could talk about any of these if you want. You want to pick the category, and I'll just rip the one I got.
Yeah, let's hear this. Who do you got on the hot seat going into this weekend?
The hot seat, which I don't think is going to be a surprise to many people, is the Yearway Health Todd Wallman squad. They've got two. They have two tough games in the sense of they've got to play you on a really big field. That's a problem for most people in this league. Obviously, you're only giving up 5 runs a game, and you're going to get to be on Manalapan. And then they have to drive and change locations and go to another gigantic field and play Pollock, who, again, I do rate as a little bit better team than their record. It's going to be a tight game, 6-8, 8-10, either way. So if they lose a game against you and now they've lost 6 in a row, that could easily be 7.
Right.
But if they get a big win against you guys, 8:30 in the morning, you guys are probably top 3 team in the league. That's a big win. You go over to Pollock. Pollock's not as scary anymore. You just beat you guys. And now you can be 7-5, and forget about that 5-game losing streak. So I think that seat's really hot. They have a lot of pressure on them.
I think that's a great point. I would have maybe had them in the the most to lose category. Like if they go 0-2 this weekend, like oh boy. But it's kind of the same thing as a hot seat. Yeah.
That's actually what I had them for. I was gonna say they're kind of the doubleheader to be on that one for the worst or most to lose, just on that same premise, especially at this part of the season where you're playing those out of division teams, and before you know it, you're going to be back at the end of the season. You got to battle with your division again for those second games of the year. And if you're digging yourself a deep hole in the division, it's going to be tough to climb out when you have to, go to battle with them.
Yeah.
Do you
Wait,
think this team feels good about themselves if they split?
what's the split look like?
I
is
think
the
that
question.
you would have to, just because you're getting off of a losing streak regardless. So you're either losing the first game to make it 5 in a row, and you're snapping that 5-game skid, or you're snapping that 4-game skid, and then hoping to build on it going into the next game.
I think it's 5 already.
I mean, if you,
Are the standings not updated?
I think they are. It's 4 straight.
Oh,
If you come out against us and you score like 14, 15 runs and you're buzzing and you have life, and then that drive over to Morel kills you and you lose like a weird game because you just drove from different towns and it's hot as balls and you just used a shit ton of energy scoring a lot of runs and you lose the game to Pollock, I think you're like, all right, whatever. We beat a good team and had a really good offensive day. If you lose to us badly, like no life, you lose like 9-4, and then you drive over to Morel and you win like 9-6. You're not feeling good about yourself after that split.
I don't think they feel good about themselves in any split.
I feel like if you get back to your dominant self in one of the games, you could feel a little bit better.
I think if you lose to you and beat Pollock, you still, maybe that's the best case scenario in the split. But I don't know if they can lose to you and then beat Pollock. That team's a little riled up.
I think it's very hard to lose the first game and then have to, go
Travel.
to another field and try and get yourself ready to win a game. That's
a tough first game. You would like to see these games flipped.
Speaking of Pollock, I think I have them in the doubleheader most to gain column because they're sitting here at 3-6, and they have a doubleheader against two teams, 4-4, 4-5. They play Polzer at Morel 8:30, then they play Wallman 10:30. You come out winning 2 games against 2 teams with better records than you, slightly better records than you. That's a big momentum gainer right there for them, and they're kind of set up for that with staying at Morel. Pitch a tent, have fun, relax in between your game, and maybe beat 2 teams that are better than you. Either of you guys have Pollock in any of your little categories for any reasons?
I mean, I was going to have them in the same category, but I've got some other options.
I mean, you're allowed to agree on this one.
Okay.
This isn't a agree to disagree kind of.
That's the what? Can't lose or the most?
I
to
had
gain?
that in a doubleheader most to gain. They have the most to gain from this doubleheader. Vibes-wise and record-wise. Getting to 5 wins is helpful, especially beating these 2 teams.
Dom, I agree with you on Wallman hot seat. I also hot seat and doubleheader most to lose. Like the 2 teams I've got on the hot seat are both playing doubleheaders.
Right.
Wallman and Byko are in the exact same spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
They both have rosters that are much better than their record. Everyone thought they were going to be great to start the year. They both started the year great, and now they're both sitting at 4-5 with Wallman's minus 19 and Byko's minus 23 on the year.
Byko's got the day night, right?
Byko's got a day night 8:30, 8 p. Is it 8 p.m.? No.
9 a.m., 8 p.m.
Yes. So it's 2 teams with day night doubleheaders this week to play Klashinsky on just a regular double.
Too.
Oh man, I know Pez is probably gonna hate that, but I also love the day night doubleheader.
Why is the Sunday doubleheader at 8:00?
Because they're doing a 6 and 8 on the same field instead of separate.
Oh, okay.
I like that. And the same teams involved. I like that call, John. Byko on the hot seat. You could. I would call these can't loses, both of them. If you're Byko,
I've got another thing for can't lose.
You cannot lose to Klashinsky at night, especially if you lose to pings during the day. If you ask 13 people on Team Byko, they would all agree that they are a better team than Pat Pingaro. I think this is a good measuring stick game, pun intended, with Plategate, followed by a game you cannot lose. You cannot lose to Klaczynski, especially if you lose to Pingaro.
Marty, let me give you a situation here with the prediction, and I'll probably make this prediction every week that Byko has a night game until it comes true.
Mm-hmm.
But if Byko loses to Pingaro in the morning, and then they go and they play an 8 p.m. late at night, big game against Klaczynski, and they're losing, Pez is on the bump. Could that be the Mouse at the Palace game?
I don't
No,
think so.
not against Klaczynski's team, unless
Are you sure that matters, Dom?
it doesn't. It doesn't. I do think they can lose that. I think that game's going to be like a 14-12 game, and I would not be shocked who wins it, regardless of what Byko does in the morning.
Right.
I think they're trending in different directions, and they're very close to kissing each other in the middle. So, like,
By the
and
way,
it's-
I just want to say the last game Byko played Wednesday night, I predicted an 8th inning Mouse at the Palace, and that was so close to coming true. That would have been an unfucking believable prediction.
That
That's
would
like
have been the
plus
hit
$1
of your
billion.
lifetime.
very close.
Sorry for just rambling here, but my can't lose is Bomb and Blitz.
Bomb plays Drzezinski, 11:30 Union Hill, right? I think that's
Yeah.
their only game.
I know it's weird picking them as a can't lose since they're playing a good team that they probably should lose. But I mean, this is just a group that I don't want to see just continue to slide.
They do play them on Union Hill, right? I don't know if how much of a difference that makes, but
I don't know how I feel about the Bomb and Blitz going on a really bad run. I would like for them to cut that short and cut any potential negative energy, while they can.
Yeah.
this is the time to do it.
Right.
You got anyone on your cool throne, Ush?
On my cool throne?
Yeah.
I do. That's a tough one, honestly.
This is a tough one. I'm looking at it right now as well.
This week I think my cool throne probably going to be Team Meyer. Kind of a potential get right week here against a really struggling Lombardi team. Would love to see them work out their qualms or whatever they got going on and really come together for our guy Dom here and put together
What
a
a guy.
nice team performance.
Still not giving you any cookies on Saturday, but I appreciate you.
That's fine. I don't expect any. I hit you well anyway.
You know what? You don't need a cookie. You know what? I could say it. You can't say it. I could say it.
I think I would put Rosenstock on my cool throne on Monday morning. If they come out, they have a tough doubleheader, I think. They got Goddard 8:30 at Muni, and then they stay there, and Goldfarb comes and plays them at 10:30. Monday morning, if you're Rosenstock and you just beat two good offenses, cool throne. Like, you're feeling real good about yourself. So I'm not, like, this is a chance for them to get on the cool throne. But they're going to just continue playing and beating good teams. Hell yeah, good for them. I think that's a corny answer, given they're the best team in the league, but it's a good test this week.
It's really a tough one when you have a lot of double headers, and a lot of these double headers are actually some really good matchups.
I don't agree with almost any of these.
You don't agree?
Or you guys are picking like teams that could end up on the cool throne at the end of the week, or isn't it just like who's on the cool throne right now?
I put my own little spin on it.
Subjective, I guess. I have Goldfarb on the cool throne. I don't think it would matter. They only have one game, so they're not. They're just fine against this Rosenstock team on a big field. I think they have a better defense. I think they have a better team, and I think that even if they did lose this game, it would be close, and you can feel good about yourself regardless. You only have to see them once until you have to see them in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think win, lose, whatever, their week is just a great time.
Mm-hmm. We have the built-in excuse also. We're missing the best shortstop in the league this week.
Oh, true.
Martino is going to play with you guys for this week?
No, they're missing him. I mean, Cole's in Nashville.
Oh, fair.
You know,
Fair.
Tino will be leaving Union Hill left and having to travel to Nalpin 5.
To get this.
Yeah, so you're missing Cole. You're going to go to the well one too many times without Cole at the field. So even if you lose this game, you're fine. There's
Throwaway loss.
Yeah, absolutely.
To a good team at least. So I mean, can't even be mad about it. It's not like a game we should have won and we just lost because I still think we'll be okay though. We have them on the back end of a doubleheader, which is always nice. They're going to be already a game in. We'll come in there fresh. Hopefully, catch them by surprise.
If you win, you're even cooler, and if you lose, you have nothing to be less cool about.
Exactly.
What about you, Hemp? Anything on your cool throne?
Yeah, I'm going chalk, right wide open layup. I'm taking LaRocca for cool throne. They're just on fire right now. 4 straight wins. They now have the best run. I know I talk about run differential way too much, but they have the best run differential in the league now at plus 62. They're a half a game behind stock because they have less games, and they still have a better run differential. They're hotter than stock right now, scoring 14.6 a game, only giving up 7.6.
I got the best shortstop in Marlboro softball.
Second best shortstop.
The second best shortstop in Marlboro softball. I think these guys are the team to beat right now.
They get to play a Team Kessler who does not have an Andy Kessler on the bump.
That's a Martin Blackburn pitching game.
Hell yeah, they've been warming up all week.
Wow.
Remember,
and you got to play the best shortstop.
Remember, it's underhand. No, 95 on the black.
Yeah, 95 on the black. I guarantee you this. Nick Martino.
Best shortstop in Marlboro softball.
Second best shortstop. We'll get sliced and diced by this 14-mile-an-hour pitch I'm going to throw.
Wow. You're gonna go with the Magnus effect?
I'm going to come up with a new effect. You're not even going to I'm going to give you a physics lesson on the effect I'm going to create.
That gets me hard.
Don't take the first pitch of the game, Nick Martino. If you're leading off, don't take the first pitch that I throw you.
Wow.
It's going to be a meatball. It's going to be right there for you. Swear.
I don't have LaRocca on any of this list here.
Who's the other game against? Marone?
Seems like you don't like the shortstop that much.
When you have the best shortstop in the league, I don't have to worry about it.
What's the rivalry or revenge?
Just Frank and Glenn.
Sure.
Just why not?
I got Ed Fracken versus the Matt.
I knew someone was going to drop something like that.
I would like to see
like a hot seat, the board.
Listen, you got a volatile Pez. You got a team that's coming off a lot of weird adversity and a lot of conflict. I think the revenge is against the existential forces of the universe that drive us to our ever bitter end.
I feel like there's a small little rivalry just for my choice. I know that it's playful between Frank and Glenn, but I feel like there's a little bit of intensity when they both play each other.
What do you guys make of this Carroll doubleheader? They play 8:30 at Swim, 11:30
I saw your list.
left
Don't do it.
against Jim, and then Conti.
I don't know how you guys have missed this, but the team with the doubleheader with the most to lose is Team Carroll. And I will say they have a Jim Lombardi game at Swim.
It's dodging Hemp's bullets there, sorry.
You got an 8:30 game at Swim against Lombardi. Then you're going where the last time we saw them on Union Hill, Tom Carroll is just an absolute freakazoid. They get to go play on Union Hill left on the turf. No big fence. they're playing a Conti team that is hot and it's hitting the ball well, and they have to play against Seth, before that, which should probably be a high scoring game. I think that I need them to pummel Lombardi, so when we get there, Lombardi has no hope, because that's what I need for me. I cannot watch this game and watch Lombardi beat this Pro Care team and then go over, and then if they go over and have to play a hot Conti team, lose that. I think they have the most to lose if they lose both games. I think they're going to win both. Let me say, I'm picking them to win both. But of all the teams that could lose 2 games, I think they lose the most momentum.
I would agree with that.
We would certainly lose a lot of momentum. That's for sure.
You could split. Fine.
Right.
But if you lose both games, all these last 3 that you work so hard to come back from, not that it calls all the old things into question. You just have to start climbing up that hill again. It's a lot.
No, I agree.
And like Lombardi, I expect them to lose this game.
Right.
Expect you guys to win both these games, and so that's why I think it would probably be the biggest. And for the most to gain, I have your team, Martin. I do think you guys play a very good LaRocca team after you play a Todd Wallman team on Manalapan 5. That you're going to have your guys are going to be feeling nice after this game, and you're going to play a really hot team, best shortstop in the league, maybe the best team in the league. They played an emotional game against Woody Woodpecker and the Shirtless Amato gang, and then they have to drive to Manalapan. It's not a far drive, but they still got to go there. I think you can lose that game to LaRocca and still feel like you're a top 3-4 team, because you would be. And, I think that it's, I don't think anyone's going to look down on you guys if you lost that game. And I think you actually have a really good chance to win both and really start making a case that you guys might be the best team in the league.
I like it.
I mean, hey,
Gene
listen,
Kessler love. I love it.
if by the end of this weekend, you guys are still giving up less than 6.5, 7 runs a game after going through LaRocca and Todd's team, that's very good. I think it's time to consider that a team that can keep these high-powered offenses under 8 is a tougher team to beat than one you got to score 12 against. But who knows? You could just shit the bed.
Hope not.
Me neither. I
plan on giving up 0 earned runs. I'm going to pull the Glenn Marone method against LaRocca.
Wow.
It's the best
And that's
method.
also like we talk about, like a throwaway game for Goldfarb without Fluta against a good team. Like
No,
we can have that same opinion losing LaRocca, having me on the bump, changing our defense, not having our pitcher if we give up a bunch to LaRocca and losing that way.
I certainly don't think Ben would see it that way.
I don't give a fuck what Ben sees.
Is Andy gonna?
I'm the captain now. What was that, John?
Well, never mind. You've got me sold.
What were you saying about Andy?
I was going to ask if he's not going to be there, but now I see what's going on.
He's
going to
He's
Alaska.
at 1 game and out for the second.
Okay.
He's got to leave for his flight.
I think it's scary. It's going to be scary to see if you guys win that game against the best shortstop in the
Second
league,
best.
and and they're doing it without Andy and without you in the outfield, and you still win this game. I think that is a very, 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 very interesting thing.
At this point, I'm not going to vote for Martino or Fluta because of Yuto.
It's fine.
Disrespect.
Sanagate can get his Mickey Mouse award.
Yeah. Sanagate got his Mickey Mouse award last year.
That's not very nice.
I know. I'm kidding. I love you, Sanagate.
Speaking of Sanagate, it's a revenge game for him because Polzer takes on Pollock, and he got tortured by Pollock last year. And another revenge game, Jeff Freeman versus Todd Wallman, because Jeff was tortured playing with Lugos and Becker last year.
Wow.
So some revenge.
Right.
I have 2 teams, and it's kind of, I guess, controversial because they play each other for the doubleheader for the best / most to gain. And I have Conti and I have Seth.
I was going to
So
ask
what?
about these two teams you haven't mentioned yet. Go on.
So, if Seth's team wins both games, they position themselves nicely. They're at 7-3 on a nice 3-game winning streak at that point. Kind of starts to separate themselves from the pack a little bit and start to get into that top tier, upper echelon of teams in the league. And then for Conti, I think if they can find a way to win both games, they get themselves above 500 for the first time this season. Potentially either tied or, in sole possession of second place, depending on what happens with that Pingaro game. And kind of right back into the division also. Only a couple of games behind Rosenstock at that point.
Both great answers. Do you guys have the Conti and/or Seth in any other buckets? Seth, John, or Dom?
No.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed those two.
Only 2 buckets I have unspoken for: can't lose and must win.
You got anything for those you want to mention to the folks that
I don't
hasn't
think
been
anyone's
mentioned?
done Dunn chain.
I mean, it's Lombardi. I think we can all
yeah.
put the Dunn chain on Lombardi. It's easy.
Yeah, I was going
They're
to
done
avoid
as
that
fuck.
one in general.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope.
Are there any
we,
teams?
we can only hope.
I put this must win. I put for Polzer, and I did because they should be better than this Pollock team. They're playing on a big open field, which might be an issue for them. But I still think that they're on a 3-game winning streak themselves,
Yep.
right? And I think they're starting to think that maybe we're actually good after starting the season where they were like, maybe we're not good. And I think this game, if they lose this game, I think it's easy to start thinking, wow, maybe that was just maybe a flash in the pan and we're not. I think this is a must win for them.
I love that.
And I think for my can't lose, I have Rosenstock. Rosenstock cannot lose a game to Goddard on a big open field like Muni, and they cannot let that roll over and have them lose to a Goldfarb team without the second best shortstop in the league. And I think that these are both open field. These are tough. This is a tough game for them. I don't see them as an open field team, and I think that they cannot lose both of these games here. I think that would be an indictment against them a little bit if they lost both of these.
I personally struggle telling an 8-2 team that they can't lose games. They could do it you know what I mean?
That's why I didn't have it as a must win, because it's not. But for themselves,
Well, no, an 8-2 team can have a must win.
I don't think so.
They just can't have.
You must win against Jim Lombardi if you're an 8-2 Rosenstock team.
No, that doesn't even go on the list. Think about this stock.
Or is
team.
it a can't lose?
But you don't have to can't lose.
Correct. You have to win that game. You can't lose that game.
Right.
Correct.
By the way, speaking of must win and can't lose, I am switching my can't lose from I'm putting Bomb and Blit to a must win. Because they're playing a team better than them. You can't have a can't lose against a team better than you.
Okay.
True.
So they're a must win. Dom, my can't lose is probably Team Liar.
Listen,
I agree with that completely. You guys cannot lose this baseball game.
Right.
let me make my point on
Go back.
Yeah,
on stock.
we got our roll there with the must win and can't lose. I just want to make sure everyone understands.
They played Klaczynski week 1 when all their players are playing out of position. Like, that team is taking weeks to come into their own. Then they play Pingaro on that rainy night where they don't even want to play. They don't even want to get the game in. Pingaro's team was lifeless, and they still barely only win that game. Then they play you guys with 10. You guys are missing everybody. That's another one. Then they lose a nail biter to a Conti team that was a mess, right? Then they beat Jim Lombardi, whatever. Beat Bomb and Blit, whatever.
They actually ended Jim Lombardi's season right there.
Yeah. They lose to Marone. They lose to LaRocca. They beat Bykovsky in the middle of a lightning storm without their shortstop. They need to win these games. They're as the games go on, even though they're winning, they look less formidable.
Hold on. Must they win or can't they lose?
They can't lose.
Okay. Just
Wow.
Sorry, they
So
can't.
what happens if they lose?
They can't lose both these. Then no one's afraid of them.
they come back down to earth. They lose that high pedigreed status.
Mm-hmm.
They have a mystique right now. They don't want to pitch to Sean. Sags is there. Ronnie knows the entire league. He's a Cy Young pitcher. Rosenstock just went to the finals. He's amazing. All this stuff kind of starts to go away.
Okay.
Yeah, we cannot lose this fucking game. Consider me retired.
Wow, that is really a
Consider me part of the furniture, as they say.
part of the furniture.
Let's wrap it up with this one. We might have talked about it already, but everyone, John, which game, if you could watch one game this weekend, you can only watch one, and you get to watch every single pitch, which of these games are you picking? And then Ush and Dom also pick one.
Which game is Fogarty on?
Unfortunately, one of the Klaczynski games, probably.
I'm watching Ben Kessler versus Frank LaRocca.
Yeah,
That is a great game.
I would want to watch Martin Chuck.
That game's at 10:30. We play at 8. I will be there. Oh my God, no, I won't.
You have a doubleheader.
I have a doubleheader.
I think that's the game I would watch. ProCare versus Conti. Especially
Nice.
Both teams win their early game. Going into that, who's hotter?
That would
Who's
make it
coming on
intense.
stronger?
Yeah.
I would want to watch you, Chuck Martin, because I would just want to watch and support you as a friend. But I'm much more. You and LaRocca, whoever wins or loses, couldn't make a single difference on where you guys stand overall, I don't think, right now. But that game, I think, is going to be electric.
Ush, what are you thinking?
I'm kind of interested in that the Seth Conti game, not just because I had them as my one bucket, but I just do think that it's a really good matchup overall. You got the two big lefties and Greg and Santa Marita, and then just two really put together teams.
Yeah, I think one of those three is the correct answer ultimately.
Yeah.
The only other reason I might want to watch a different game is Byko Pingaro, just for the potential fireworks.
Yeah,
Actually,
but I wouldn't want to go to Freehold, so
I don't really think I want to be. I don't even want to be around that energy. I don't think for the day. I'll watch it on camera later. Someone
That's
please
fair.
film the Evan Abramson. Please film this game.
also crazy that Goddard has to start their Sunday doubleheader back at the scene of the crime. They're just returning there.
Yeah, right back.
Honestly, you know whose fault it really was, Plategate? It's Nick Toronto's fault.
Right?
Dude, if he was there,
He was there.
That
I don't
would've
think
been
any of this
crazy.
happened. Honestly, I don't think it happens this way. So, congrats on your baptism, your kid's baptism, Nick. Way to go.
All right. Anything else on this episode? We have a long one. Recaps, previews, Plategate. If you covered it all. Anything else?
Aside from Glenn Marone promising to draft Fred Lugos next season to be his catcher, he's also apparently said that Wednesday, 8:45, you must tune into his game. He wants everyone to know that he's got something electric going on tonight,
God.
Wednesday night at 8:45.
We're gonna have to stream it
his
from
game.
Mulligans.
From Pollock. He played Pollock, right? What are the two
Wednesday
games?
at 8:40, like so in the middle of his game.
That's when it starts.
Oh. Excuse me.
The first game is, what are the two games tomorrow night, Martin?
They are Wallman, Trzynski, 7:15, and then it's Marone, Pollock, 8:45.
What is he gonna do?
I don't know. He wouldn't even give me a hint. So who the fuck knows?
I don't know.
I wonder if it's going to be Ed or Lugos related. Maybe he's going to come out dressed like a gorilla or have a bunch of pads on. Who?
I have a bunch of
This man is so delusional and unhinged.
those are
Anything
both
to that.
head related.
I don't know. I got
I'm
word
excited.
I got word yesterday that he just wanted to put me on notice. You're not going to want to miss it, and
Sick.
so then that's all he would give.
It'll be funny if he just does nothing. It's just regular game.
If it's so good that not even Glenn wants to spill the beans, then it must be great.
It's either that or he's so delusional that it's like he
Nothing.
just like blows a kiss to the camera.
Well, I'm excited, Glenn. We appreciate
yeah.
you.
He just makes a really bad joke.
Oh yeah. And shout out Glenn. He won the pick'em again. Third win in the pick'em for Glenn this week.
It's unbelievable.
Guy knows ball. He had a perfect week, 8-0.
I know. Savvy gambler. Knows the
Record
books.
highs tomorrow, so stay hydrated. We'll be out on the broadcast. None of you three will be there, so it'll just be me.
Shit, I got to get you that list of to-dos. But yes,
Bye.
Maybe I'll make Doug just stream it.
you should. I think that might be the move.
Could be the move.
Do a Doug ball session.
Yeah. Well, we might also get banned from recording after they hear this episode.
Is it
Yeah, I guess we'll see if wouldn't that be ironic if we got suspended?
That'd be awesome.
The broadcast got suspended of all the things.
They're not allowed. Free speech.
Can't say that.
It's America. Sorry, thought it was America.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. Any last thoughts? 3, 2, 1. Deuces.
Bye.